Phoenix Nights. Chapter 1437. After obtaining the black stone imprinted with the incomplete map, Gu Fei recalled the body that was fighting the Emperor of Savage Beasts. He met up with He Tian and was about to leave Sovereign Mountain. "Where do you think you're going?" At this moment, the Emperor of the Beast Kings charged towards Gu Fei and Erebus. The murderous aura that soared into the sky caused one's heart to palpitate. A gigantic beast shadow appeared behind the Emperor of the Beast Kings. The gigantic beast gave off a ripple that caused the hearts of all living beings in the world to tremble. It was as if an invincible beast from ancient times had awakened. "This is..." Gu Fei's eyes emitted a sharp light. He stared at the shadow of the beast behind the Emperor of the Beast Emperors with a look of shock. "A primordial beast soul? How is this possible?" He Tian's eyes narrowed. This Emperor of the Beast Emperors was not to be underestimated. There was a primordial beast soul hidden in its body. "Roar!" The shadow of the beast behind the Emperor of the Beast Emperors roared into the sky. The roar shook the mountains and rivers, emitting a terrifying aura that could dominate the heavens and earth. A boundless force erupted from the Emperor of the Beast Emperors. "Die!" The Emperor of the Beast Emperors roared and opened its mouth to devour Gu Fei. A terrifying heaven-devouring force was emitted from its mouth. The primordial beast soul was unimaginably strong. It seemed as if it could swallow the entire world into its stomach. "Humph!" Gu Fei sneered. He had now used one of the 9 secrets of the immortal path, the secret art of ascension. His strength had increased by several times. He could even fight against a 9th-layer existence. The heaven-devouring force engulfed his body, but Gu Fei was as steady as a mountain. He was not affected by the force at all. He then threw a punch. Under the powerful force, the void in front of him was collapsing and collapsing. He guided this heaven-devouring force into the primal chaos void. Swoosh! Gu Fei disappeared on the spot. In the next moment, he appeared in the sky above the Emperor of the Beast King and slapped it with his palm. Bam! The King of Beasts was sent flying by Gu Fei's slap, and its head almost exploded from Gu Fei's slap. If it wasn't for the protection of the desolate beast soul, the King of Beasts would have been slapped to death by Gu Fei. Heh! The King of Beasts was on the verge of going crazy. His eyes were bloodshot. He had never been humiliated like this before. It made him so angry that he almost vomited blood. The desolate beast soul on the body of the Emperor of Beasts was also roaring. Great Desolate Beast Soul was a unique soul that was obtained by the later generations of savage beasts after the death of a great desolate beast. Such an existence was not a ghost. The luck of the Emperor of Beasts was absolutely heaven-defying. To think that he would be able to obtain a desolate beast soul. With the existence of this desolate beast soul, it was no wonder that the Emperor of Beasts was so strong. Swish! A pitch-black beast claw grabbed out from the back of the Emperor of Beasts, tearing towards Gu Fei. This was the desolate beast soul attacking Gu Fei. The beast claw emitted a vast and mighty soul power, causing Gu Fei to turn serious. Swish! Gu Fei pointed out with his finger, and a primal divine light rushed out from his hand. Yin and Yang turned into primal chaos. Gu Fei's true force was transforming and rising. Pooh! The power of Gu Fei's finger directly penetrated the black beast's claw, and shot towards the desolate beast soul behind the Emperor of Beasts. What? This time around, even the Emperor of the Beast Kings had a change in expression. How in the world did this powerful being of the human race suddenly become this strong? This Emperor of Beasts had been in hiding for countless years. Even the Emperor of Beasts on the Sovereign Mountain didn't know that there was such an existence in their territory. The Emperor of Beasts believed that if he could fuse with the desolate beast soul, he would be able to challenge the supreme beings on the Sovereign Mountain and fight against the Beast Lord of Desolation. But now, he couldn't even defeat a supreme being of the human race. He suffered setbacks one after another, and this made him so depressed that he almost vomited blood. Gu Fei's finger was extremely strong. The power of primal chaos broke through the void and destroyed everything. Without any suspense, the desolate beast soul behind the Emperor of Beasts was pierced through by Gu Fei's finger. But such an attack couldn't hurt the desolate beast soul at all. Boss, We don't need to waste time with these guys anymore, Haitian said. Now that they had gotten what they wanted, it was time for them to escape. Who knew if the Beast Lord of Desolation would suddenly return? Gu Fei nodded and directly tore open the void. Together with Haitian, they used the Great Void Shift and disappeared from the sky. The Emperor of Beasts wanted to block them, but Gu Fei and Haitian's movements were too fast. By the time the Emperor of Beasts acted, Gu Fei and Haitian had already disappeared. Roar! The desolate beast soul and the Emperor of Beasts roared, causing the entire world to tremble. Terrifying auras filled the 9 heavens and 10 earths, causing the Emperor of Beasts in the distance to tremble in fear. How many years has it been? I've finally returned to this place, the Emperor of Beasts muttered to himself. After that, the desolate beast soul behind him disappeared into his body. The terrifying soul force fluctuations immediately receded like the tide. Swish! The Emperor of the Beast Kings took a step forward and rushed down from the sky. Then, he arrived in front of the ancient palace at the peak of Emperor Mountain. There was a huge pit in the ground in front of the palace. It was left by Gu Fei after he pulled out the black stone. After hesitating for a while in front of the ancient palace, the Emperor of Beasts walked into the ancient palace and disappeared inside. The crowd of beasts was dumbfounded when they saw this scene. This was the place where their lord cultivated in seclusion. Usually, even they didn't dare to go too close. In the ancient palace, there were marks left behind by the ancient beast kings. Weaker beast kings couldn't even get close to it, but the Emperor of Beasts walked in just like that. Could it be that his cultivation had already reached the level of the Beast Lord of Desolation? The group of beast kings didn't know what to do. Their lord wasn't here, so they were definitely no match for the king of beast kings. Even if Jiao Hualong was here, he might not be able to suppress the king of beast kings. Moreover, Jiao Hualong might not even be willing to risk his life for their lord. The Beast Lord of Desolation had left. No one knew where this supreme beast had gone. Although the crowd of beast kings was anxious, there was nothing they could do. They couldn't change anything. Just as the crowd of beast kings was panicking, Gu Fei and Haitian were already thousands of miles away. Their next target was the demon race's lair. There was something they wanted there. The extreme path map fragment on the black stone was not enough for them to safely pass through the extreme path array outside the 9 underworlds. They wanted to obtain other map fragments, and there was such a map fragment in the demon race of desolation. Please go to target =_. Chapter 1438. Gu Fei and Haitian wanted to enter the 9 Serenities Yellow Springs, but the 9 Serenities Yellow Springs was protected by the extreme Tao formation. Not everyone could enter the 9 Serenities Yellow Springs. An extreme Tao Great Array blocked all the powerful existences, and only extreme supremes could pass through it. In front of the extreme Tao Great Array, even almighty existences were as weak as ants. Gu Fei and Haitian wanted to collect the pieces of the map and enter the 9 Serenities Yellow Springs to retrieve the gate of reincarnation that existed in the legends. Their next target was the Desolate Demon Clan. The other piece of the map fell into the hands of the Desolate Demon Clan. The Desolate Demon Clan's territory was next to the Desolate Ancient Beast's territory. After Gu Fei and Haitian left the Ancient Beast's territory, they directly entered the Desolate Demon Clan's territory. The Desolate Demon Clan's territory was immediately in chaos. All kinds of demon beasts were frightened by Gu Fei and fled in all directions. The area within 100 miles was no longer safe. It was not the first time that a powerful human had entered the Demon Clan's territory. Whoever's fist was harder would be the boss. This was the truth of the law of the jungle. Boom! Just as Gu Fei and Haitian were about to enter, an extremely powerful aura suddenly exploded near them. A terrifying demon walked out and blocked their way. It's you? It was a violet Qilin that gave off a vast violet aura. It was like a violet divine flame jumping about, and a powerful ripple spread out. Oh? Gu Fei was startled. He couldn't help but be startled. They didn't seem to have seen this purple Qilin before, so how could it recognize him? He was bewildered. No need to be surprised. Last time, you made a mess in the forbidden area of my clan and left calmly. Now you're here again. Do you really think that there are no powerful beings in my clan? The purple Qilin said. I see. Hearing this, Gu Fei and He Tian couldn't help but come to a realization. Last time in the demon clan's forbidden area, they had fought the 12 demon clan's almighties and killed 8 of the 12 demon clan's almighties, scaring away the 4 almighties who held the ancient map. This battle shook the entire desolate demon race. Many ancient demons came out of seclusion, wanting to settle scores with Gu Fei and He Tian. However, Gu Fei and He Tian had already entered the territory of desolate ancient beasts. The purple Kirin was incomparably strong. Its demonic aura shot up into the 9 heavens. Standing in the air, it emanated a suppressive might that caused the entire world to shake. Die! The purple Qilin stepped on the ground, directly rushing towards Gu Fei and He Tian. The sky and the void collapsed under its hooves, destroying everything, making people's hearts palpitate. Swoosh! Seeing that the situation was not good, He Tian immediately retreated into the distance. The purple Qilin's cultivation and strength was not something he could contend against. This was a terrifying ancient demon. Gu Fei faced the purple Qilin's attack. His expression did not change. He directly punched out the yin-yang transmigration fist. His right fist turned into a yang fist, emitting the power of extreme yang. His left fist turned into a black divine sun, emitting the power of extreme yin and extreme yang. Boom! The power of yin and yang intertwined. When Gu Fei punched out with both fists, it was like splitting the sky and earth apart. The void was shattered, forming a terrifying destructive force that swept towards the purple Qilin. You do have some skills. The purple Qilin was moved. This human great master was indeed extraordinary. He was incomparably strong. No wonder he could fight against the 12 demon clan great masters alone, and even kill 8 of them on the spot. However, this Qilin ancient demon was different from the other great masters. This ancient demon actually ignored the terrifying destructive force, directly breaking through the layers of destructive force and stomped down on Gu Fei's head. Gu Fei was taken aback. He raised his fist to block. Bam! The Qilin ancient demon's hoof stomped on his arm, pushing him down from the sky. In a single exchange, Gu Fei was suppressed. Gu Fei only felt that his arms were almost broken. This stomp of the Qilin ancient demon was so powerful that it far exceeded his expectations. Perhaps even an immemorial sacred mountain would be crushed under the hoof of this ancient demon. One had to know that Gu Fei was a martial great master. The martial body of a great master was incomparably strong. He could take on the divine weapon of a great master or even a quasi-sacred weapon. However, at this moment, the attack of the Qilin ancient demon made him feel pain. This Qilin ancient demon's physical body and even strength was comparable to Gu Fei's. In fact, it was even stronger than Gu Fei's. Could it be a half-sage realm existence? Boom! Gu Fei fell from the sky like a meteorite. When he hit the ground, dust rose high into the sky and the entire ground shook violently. A bottomless pit appeared on the ground. What? Far in the sky, He Tian couldn't help but be dumbfounded when he saw this scene. Gu Fei was actually trampled down from the sky by the Qilin ancient demon. This was something that had never happened before. Roar! An angry roar came from the ground. The dull sound caused the entire ground to tremble. A terrifying battle intent erupted from the ground. A figure rushed out from the bottomless pit. His body emitted divine light and the power of yin and yang surged on his body. A yin-yang Dao diagram emerged from his body. Kill! Gu Fei's strength was unimaginable. He directly punched at the Qilin ancient demon. This punch shook the entire heaven and earth, as though it was going to overturn the entire sky. He displayed an indomitable and invincible fist intent. The simplest moves were often the ones that had been tempered thousands of times and were the most lethal. Gu Fei's punch made the Qilin ancient demon feel that it was unavoidable. Gu Fei's fist became the only thing in the heaven and earth. Boom! A monstrous fist force erupted. It was unstoppable and unstoppable. It directly sent the Qilin ancient demon flying. Gu Fei was the first to retaliate. Ha! The Qilin ancient demon roared. Purple demonic light emitted from its body and soared thousands of feet. This ancient demon seemed to have transformed into a purple supreme demon. It stopped retreating and its eyes emitted a terrifying murderous light. Boom! The Qilin ancient demon opened its mouth and spat out a ball of purple demonic fire towards Gu Fei. The monstrous demonic fire swept out and instantly enveloped the entire heaven and earth. The void was distorted by the demonic fire and was almost annihilated. Gu Fei displayed an invincible aura. He broke through the layers of demonic fire and charged towards the Qilin ancient demon. The purple demonic fire that filled the sky couldn't even get close to him. Bam! Gu Fei's fist collided with the Qilin ancient demon's hoof once again. Gu Fei and the Qilin ancient demon were both sent flying. It seemed like no one could truly suppress the other. How is this possible? The Qilin ancient demon realized that it had underestimated this human mighty figure. His combat strength had exceeded its expectations. A person who could fight 12 demons alone was truly extraordinary. Gu Fei and the Qilin ancient demon were secretly shocked. There was no doubt that the other party was strong. It was absolutely impossible to end the battle quickly. This was an evenly matched battle. The two figures moved rapidly in the sky and fought continuously. The terrifying aura spread for thousands of miles, causing all the living beings in the surrounding region to tremble. A battle of this scale shocked all directions. There were constantly great demons soaring into the sky and approaching where Gu Fei and the Qilin ancient demon were. It's him! Many great demons recognized Gu Fei because the entire desolate demon race had issued a kill order for Gu Fei. The appearance of Gu Fei and He Tian had long spread throughout the desolate demon race. Even some of the lesser demons knew of the existence of Gu Fei and He Tian. More and more great demons gathered. Some of them had their eyes on He Tian. 4 figures rushed over from afar and charged towards He Tian. Preposterous! He Tian's expression turned ugly. He was no stranger to the 4 great demons. They were the 4 fellows who had almost suppressed Gu Fei with the ancient diagram. Humph! He Tian scanned the 4 great demons. Dao patterns were constantly appearing under his feet. In terms of array formation attainments, He Tian was definitely at the level of a Grand Master. He fused with the array formation and activated the power of the heaven and earth Dao to enhance his combat strength. He had the same power as the Heaven Ascension mystic skill. Swoosh! The 4 great beasts made their move as well. 4 ancient diagrams flew out from their hands, sealing the surroundings and pressing down on Gu Fei's head. 1. At that moment, a rumbling sound came from He Tian's body. Then billions of formation runes rushed out from his body and imprinted themselves in the void. Bam! The void trembled. He Tian used the power of the array to create a path and rushed out from the encirclement of the 4 great demons. Even the sealing of the 4 ancient diagrams could not seal him. The 4 great demons were shocked at this scene. The cultivation method cultivated by this human was too strange. They had never seen anything like it. Kill! Billions of array patterns were released from He Tian's body. They constantly flickered in the void. The heaven and earth spiritual qi in the surrounding area frantically gathered towards him. The sounds of metal clanging rang out incessantly. Mai Tian used the formation to draw in great power. Then, he unleashed his ultimate killing technique. Divine swords began to condense in the void, and then shot towards the 4 demons. Every ray of sword light contained a terrifying power. Rumble! The 4 great demons unfolded the ancient diagrams in their hands and broke through the layers of sword light. They surrounded He Tian again. This time, they were very careful. They wanted to completely seal all of He Tian's escape routes. He Tian did not want to be destroyed by the 4 ancient diagrams. He took advantage of the fact that the 4 great demons had not surrounded him to set up an array in the void and teleported himself out. This guy, the cunning Mahakala, was a huge headache for the 4 great Yao beasts. Mahakala was unwilling to fight them head-on, which made the four great Yao beasts feel powerless. While He Tian was dealing with the four great demons, Gu Fei and the ancient Qilin demon had already started fighting. The entire heaven and earth was shaken by them. This was an evenly matched battle. Gu Fei was fighting with his own strength. He was able to unleash it to his heart's content. The waves of martial path true force were unprecedentedly strong. The combat strength that Gu Fei displayed shocked even the ancient Qilin demon. To see the first advertisement, please go to share. Target =_. Chapter 1439. Heaven Covering Palm. Gu Fei fought with the ancient Qilin demon and struck out with his palm. The huge palm covered the entire sky and emitted a strong wave of true force. The void that was enveloped by the huge palm was rippling like water. It looked like it could collapse at any time and turn into a chaotic land. Fire refining heaven and earth! The ancient Qilin demon roared, and the purple demonic aura around its body turned into a ball of purple demonic fire. Then, it exploded. Endless demonic fire swept out in all directions. The sky and the void were annihilated by the demonic fire. This was a terrifying demonic fire that could even burn heaven and earth. As long as one was touched by this demonic fire, he or she would be burned to ashes in an instant. The monstrous purple demonic fire surged towards Gu Fei's huge palm and burned the heaven and earth. Gu Fei's heaven-covering palm dimmed under the burning of the demonic fire. Boom! The sky-covering hand that Gu Fei had conjured suddenly exploded, and the destructive power directly dispersed a large area of the purple demonic fire, turning the place into a land of chaos. The ancient Qilin demon was impacted and its body swayed a few times. It took a step back. The other party was decisive and even self-destructed his ultimate move. Such a person was terrifying. Rumble! The purple demonic fire burned the sky. Although a portion of it was dispersed by Gu Fei's heaven-covering palm, it still emitted a terrifying force and burned towards Gu Fei. Untouchable! Gu Fei used the Void Steps, which was derived from the 8 Desolation Steps. He ignored the purple demonic flames that surged in front of him and charged into them. The terrifying demonic fire was blocked by a strange force emitted from Gu Fei's body and could not advance any further. He walked in the sea of fire, as though he was taking a stroll. The void around him seemed to have reversed, and none of the demonic flames could burn him. The ancient Qilin demon was taken aback. Ever since he had cultivated this natal true flame, no one had ever charged into the sea of fire. This human cultivator was simply too strong. He actually dared to charge into his sea of flames. Not to mention, it would appear that he was completely unaffected by it. How did he do it? The ancient Qilin demon's eyes narrowed. The combat strength that the other party had displayed was shocking. This combat strength seemed to be related to the martial ancestor's bloodline in ancient times. Could it be that this person had obtained the inheritance of the martial ancestor? The ancient Qilin demon was a great demon that had lived for countless years. During his era, experts emerged in large numbers, and it was a great era where tens of thousands of races flourished. At that time, the Qilin ancient demon had yet to be lost in the primordial world. As he had already made his debut in the primordial era, the Qilin ancient demon's knowledge was naturally extraordinary. Boom! The entire purple sea of fire was shaking. Gu Fei struck out with the yin-yang reincarnation fist. The power of extreme yang rushed out from his right fist, shaking the heaven and earth. He displayed the invincible fist will. His fist aura was unstoppable. A large amount of purple demonic fire dissipated under his fist. Heaven-splitting claw! The ancient Qilin demon could no longer remain calm in the face of Gu Fei's powerful punch. The power of this combat skill was unimaginable. If he was hit by this punch, he would most likely be destroyed in both body and soul. At this moment, the ancient Qilin demon's claws had already expanded to the size of a small hill. He then charged towards Gu Fei's fist. A terrifying demonic power was emitted from the claws. Under the claws, the void was as fragile as a thin layer of paper and was instantly torn apart. Gu Fei's fist collided with the claws of the ancient Qilin demon. At that moment, there was no sound in the void. Then, with a loud bang, the entire heaven and earth trembled. Everyone who was watching the battle was shocked. They hurriedly retreated to the distance. Several demon clan experts who were closest to him fell directly from the sky. Terrifying sound waves spread out, and transparent ripples visible to the naked eye appeared in the void of the entire world. Gu Fei and the ancient Qilin demon were both sent flying. The sleeve on Gu Fei's right arm was shredded into pieces. His entire right arm was trembling slightly. The claws of the ancient Qilin demon were almost broken. A sharp pain came from his claws, causing him to break out in cold sweat. Swoosh! The two of them moved rapidly in the sky, each using their killer moves. Their battle caused the heaven and earth to tremble. All the demons who were watching the battle were shocked to see this scene. At this moment, the battle between He Tian and the four demons was getting further and further away. The four-sided ancient diagram shrouded the heaven and earth. There, the essence of the earth surged. That was the power of the earth that He Tian had drawn out. He Tian used his body as a formation to draw the power of heaven and earth to fight against the four demons. However, the four-sided ancient diagram was too terrifying. It could actually suppress his strength. When the four-sided ancient diagram was combined, it could definitely seal a part of the world. However, He Tian would not just stand there and be sealed by the four demons with the ancient diagram. With every step he took, countless array patterns surged out from beneath his feet. The array patterns drew out the earth chi, causing He Tian to seem to fuse with the thick earth. The mountains and dragon veins were all for him to use. Rumble! With a wave of his hand, He Tian drew out a dragon vein that was tens of thousands of feet long. He struck it towards the ancient diagram that was suppressing him. The dragon chi of the earth surged. A tens of thousands of feet long dragon-shaped mountain range rushed towards the ancient diagram. This scene was absolutely shocking. The demon experts who were watching the battle from afar were all dumbfounded. Boom! It was as if the heaven and earth had collapsed. The tens of thousands of feet long dragon-shaped mountain range collided with the ancient diagram. The mountain range collapsed, and the power of the entire dragon vein was burning. He Tian completely activated the power of the dragon vein. The burning dragon vein erupted with the most powerful force. Even so, the ancient diagram that was suppressing him was only blocked for a moment. Then, it continued to descend. These four-sided ancient diagrams were definitely treasures of a sect. Every ancient diagram emitted a wisp of holy might. They were at least holy objects refined by the great saints of the demon race. The four-sided ancient diagrams sealed one side. One of the ancient diagrams was blocked by the dragon vein that He Tian struck out. The encirclement of the four-sided ancient diagram immediately revealed a flaw. He Tian had been waiting for this flaw. He seemed to have fused with the earth beneath his feet. With just one step, he rushed out of the encirclement of the four-sided ancient diagram. The earth trembled as one rune after another appeared beneath Mai Tian's feet. They were branded into the ground, drawing upon the essence energy of the earth. Shadows of dragons shot up into the sky from the mountains, charging towards the four demons. He was drawing upon the power of heaven and earth to fight against the four demons. This method shocked the four demons. This human's body was like a world of its own. It could actually contain such a vast amount of power of heaven and earth. Drawing upon the power of heaven and earth to enhance one's combat ability was generally a technique that could be used by cultivators at the Severing Path. However, it was rare to see someone like He Tian, who turned his body into a matrix and drew upon the power of heaven and earth. The combination of man and matrix allowed He Tian to contend with the four demons that held the ancient diagrams. To see the first advertisement, please go to. Please share. Target =_. Chapter 1440. The battle between He Tian and the four great demonic beasts seemed extremely dangerous, but in reality, The four great demonic beasts couldn't do anything to Haitian even with the ancient diagrams refined by the ancient saints of the demonic race. In terms of the Tao of formations, there weren't many in the world who could surpass Haitian. Only a formation grandmaster who had survived since the desolate era could surpass Haitian in terms of formations. Rumble! As Haitian moved forward, great dragons formed from the essence of the earth rushed out of the earth. These were the power of the earth in the form of dragons. This was simply a chaotic dance of dragons. The essence energy of the entire land was stirred up by Erebus's formation patterns, turning into the shape of a dragon. It displayed an absolute killing power as it charged towards the four great demons in the sky. Such a method left all the great demonic beasts watching from afar dumbfounded. Bzzz! The void trembled as the four ancient diagrams joined together. The ancient demonic runes on them began to awaken, emitting strands of saint-level energy. The four ancient diagrams pressed down together, and a terrifying killing force came crashing down, causing the dragons that soared into the sky to collapse one after another. Each of the four great demonic beasts possessed unparalleled cultivation. In their hands, the four ancient diagrams could definitely exert the power of a saint-level being. The four great demonic beasts wanted to kill Haitian with the power of a saint-level expert. The void trembled as the four ancient diagrams joined together like a heavenly diagram descending. The saint-level energy caused all living beings in the world to tremble in fear. Humph! Haitian sneered. Although he felt a great pressure, the pressure from the sky almost made him unable to straighten his back, he still had a trump card that he hadn't used yet. He deepened the power of heaven and earth and millions of formation runes appeared all over his body. This was a phenomenon that could only occur when one's Tao of formations reached a profound level. Transforming into a grand formation and drawing upon the power of heaven and earth was a method that allowed Haitian's battle prowess to soar. It was similar to the 9 secrets of the immortal Tao, the secret art of ascension. Swoosh! Haitian didn't wait for the four-sided ancient painting to descend. He disappeared into the ground, and the power of the surrounding earth veins crazily gathered towards him. His body was like a bottomless pit, endlessly devouring the earth essence chi that had gathered. He had created a void formation in his body with the great formation technique, which could contain an immeasurable amount of heaven and earth essence chi. The great change in the spiritual chi of heaven and earth had triggered a change in the weather. The spiritual chi of heaven and earth in the surrounding area was rapidly draining away. Even the clouds in the sky were drifting towards Haitian. Streaks of spiritual light visible to the naked eye flew over from all directions before disappearing into the ground. The four demons sensed an extremely powerful energy condensing beneath the ground. They couldn't help but be shocked. Their minds were connected, and they used all their power to control the ancient diagram, sealing the heaven and earth. Buzz! A rumbling sound came from the void. The four ancient diagrams unleashed a vast power that sealed the area, blocking all the spiritual chi of heaven and earth that gathered from all directions. However, the energy in the depths of the earth was still growing stronger. The earth essence chi of heaven and earth was still converging towards Haitian's location. In the depths of the earth, the silhouettes of dragons appeared around Haitian, completely condensed from the energy of the earth veins. The consequences of Haitian's large-scale spiritual chi of heaven and earth were obvious. The mountains and rivers within a radius of 10,000 miles would inevitably undergo violent changes. This was a change in the earth's crust. It was the same as changing the heaven and earth of an entire region. If all the spiritual chi of a region was gathered by Haitian, it would cause the spiritual chi of the earth veins to dry up, and some immortal grounds would become wastelands. However, this wasn't something Haitian could care about at the moment. Right now, he was fighting with his life on the line against the four demons. Even if the heavens collapsed, he couldn't retreat. Rumble! The earth was heaving up and down, as if there were huge dragons traversing beneath the ground, emitting extremely terrifying fluctuations. The power of the earth that Erebus had condensed had reached a point where it would not be satisfied if he did not use it. The four demons were extremely nervous. Although they had the ancient painting of the ancient sage of the demon clan, their opponent had condensed the spiritual chi of heaven and earth within a radius of 10,000 miles after all. It was difficult to imagine what kind of terrifying attack he could unleash. Roar! A muffled roar came from the depths of the earth, as if a terrifying ancient beast had awakened. An aura so powerful that it made people's hearts palpitate came from the depths of the earth. Boom! In the next moment, the ground within a radius of 1,000 miles exploded. The earth cracked, and one after another, huge dragons that emitted terrifying ripples soared into the sky. It was as if a real dragon had broken free from its shackles and rushed towards the 4 demons in the sky. The endless spiritual chi of heaven and earth condensed into 9 huge dragons. Each dragon was tens of thousands of miles long, and each dragon emitted a power that would make even cultivators at the severing path tremble. The waves of power. This was the 9 dragons' killing skill. The monstrous murderous aura made the world change color. Divine light shone from Haitian's body. Hundreds of millions of matrix patterns rushed out from his body and were branded in the void. The matrix was operating, continuously drawing the spiritual chi of heaven and earth to replenish the power of the 9 dragons. Kill! Haitian roared. He stood in the middle of the matrix. The 9 dragons shattered the void and tore the world apart, fiercely pouncing towards the 4 demons in the sky. What? How can this human cultivator have such combat power? It's too shocking! The demons watching the battle from afar were stunned by the scene in front of them. The power of the 9 dragons' killing skill was absolutely unimaginable. Each of the 9 dragons produced a wisp of holy might. This was a supreme killing skill created by the ancient sage. Kill! The 4 demons were also fighting with all their might. The ancient demon patterns on the ancient painting on the 4 sides were constantly recovering. Activating this sacred item required a huge amount of spiritual chi. The spiritual chi of the 4 demons was crazily sucked away by the ancient painting. The faces of the 4 demons turned pale, and they almost fell from the sky. Their spiritual chi was greatly damaged. Even if they killed Haitian, the 4 demons would need a period of time to recover to their peak state. Even so, the ancient demon patterns on the 4 sides had only recovered by 1/10. They could only exert 1/10 of the power of the ancient painting. 10% of the ancient diagram's power was enough to shake the heavens and collapse the void. It displayed the terrifying power of a saint. The aura of a saint spread out from the ancient diagram, causing all the greater demons in the desolate land of demons to be shocked to the extreme and feel uneasy. It was like a supreme demon saint had awakened from a deep sleep. Such power was enough to kill all existences below the sage level. The ultimate moves of Haitian and the 4 demons were about to collide. This was a super confrontation. The winner could live, while the loser could be destroyed on the spot. They wanted to determine the winner with one move. All the demons who witnessed this were extremely nervous. Target equals _blank. Chapter 1441. Boom! The entire world seemed to be shaking. The void shattered and the earth caved in. This was a scene of doomsday. Terrifying shockwaves spread out for tens of thousands of miles, almost shaking the entire desolate world. Haitian used the 9 dragons' killing art to fight the 4 demons. Both sides used their full strength without holding anything back. Die! Die! The 9 dragons soared into the sky and fiercely collided with the 4 ancient diagrams. An endless amount of earth essence swept across the sky and earth. 2 unimaginably powerful forces collided with each other. As if doomsday had come, everything was destroyed. Nothing could be preserved. Haitian and the 4 demons trembled at the same time. Roar! Haitian went crazy. The power of the 4-sided ancient diagram was too strong. The 9 dragons' killing art was blocked. He drove the formation with all his strength. The billions of formation runes under his feet shone with unprecedented radiance. The 4-sided ancient diagram shook violently. It was actually blocked in the sky. Although it had the power of a saint, it still couldn't descend any further. The 4-sided ancient diagram was blocked by Haitian's 9 dragons' killing art. The 9 dragons killing art was a great art created by an ancient saint. It had unimaginable power. He Tian gathered the power of heaven and earth to display this great art. The power displayed was definitely comparable to a saint's attack. Under the impact of the 9 dragons killing art, more ancient demonic runes appeared on the 4-sided ancient diagram. From the ancient diagram, tens of thousands of meters of demonic light shone down. Similarly, the power of a saint descended from the 4-sided ancient diagram. He Tian and the 4 demons each displayed their great abilities. They attacked with all their strength, wanting to decide the victor in one move. They didn't hold anything back. All of them struck out with their strongest attacks. Blood seeped out from He Tian's 7 orifices. The collision of these 2 earth-shattering powers caused him to suffer a great impact. He felt like his soul was being torn apart. He roared again and again. His long hair danced wildly in the wind and his expression became extremely ferocious. Large amounts of formation runes were collapsing. However, with each collapse, another rune would promptly surge out from under He Tian's feet to repair the destroyed ones. The great formation under He Tian's feet continued to operate, drawing the boundless essence of the earth to provide the 9 dragons killing art with boundless power to resist the 4-sided ancient diagram. The 4 demons didn't have it easy either. Although they were sitting on the ancient diagram, they were still impacted by the 9 dragons killing art's power. The bodies of the 4 beasts swayed on the ancient map as streams of blood oozed out of their mouths. It seemed like they would fall off the ancient map at any moment. Thousands of beams of demonic light shone from the bodies of the 4 great demonic race powerhouses. They were burning their demonic energy, desperately driving the ancient diagrams. Even so, they couldn't break through Mai Tian's 9 dragons killing art in a short time. The 9 dragons killing art was an ancient saint great art. When Mahakala executed it, a terrifying Tao law coalesced and manifested into 9 dragons with a towering killing intent. When this art was used to its peak state, it would draw the power of the Great Path. Anyone below the saint plane would definitely be killed by the 9 dragons killing art. The 4 great demons had to work together to resist the 9 dragons killing art by activating the 4 ancient diagrams. Neither side could suppress the other. 2 terrifying saint-level powers clashed and cancelled each other out. Both sides were overdrawing their life force. All the demons watching from afar were stunned by the scene before them. The 4-sided ancient diagram and the 4 demons couldn't kill the human cultivator. This was unbelievable. The relic of the ancient saint plane of the demon race had shocked the world. If the relic could be completely awakened, killing He Tian would be a piece of cake. However, with the cultivation and strength of the 4 demons, it was absolutely impossible for them to completely awaken the relic's power. By the same logic, if the 9 dragons killing art that He Tian displayed could be used to its peak, it would be enough to break the 4-sided ancient diagram and kill the 4 demons in an instant. Neither side was a saint. It was impossible for them to completely awaken the relic, and it was also impossible for them to display the true power of the saint plane. It was difficult to determine the victor between He Tian and the 4 demons. At this time, the battle between Gu Fei and the ancient Qilin demon had reached a critical juncture. Boom! Endless purple demonic aura covered the sky and earth, shrouding a radius of 3,000 miles. Amidst the demonic aura, the ancient Qilin demon displayed a supreme technique and evolved into an ancient demon realm, sucking Gu Fei into an inner world. The ancient Qilin demon had cultivated for countless years and was a super antique that had lived since ancient times. It had successfully cultivated an inner world, and its ancient demon realm was a killing art that was created with the power of the inner world as its foundation. "Human, you can die now!" The ancient Qilin demon aura filled the sky and earth like a supreme god. It stood in the void and looked down at Gu Fei. "Humph! The one who can kill me hasn't been born yet! Who do you think you are?" A look of disdain appeared on Gu Fei's face. He had also cultivated an inner world and naturally knew what the ancient Qilin demon was going to do next. However, an attack of that level would not be able to threaten his life. "All right." The ancient Qilin demon said no more. He wanted to prove his strength with action. Then, the entire ancient demon realm shook and the power of the inner world gathered towards Gu Fei from all directions. It wanted to suppress and refine Gu Fei. A huge pressure surged in from all directions, as if 100,000 mountains were crashing down on him, causing Gu Fei to be inwardly alarmed. This was not the end. The power of the heaven and earth gathered rapidly and purple divine swords appeared in the void. Then, they turned into beams of purple demonic light and pierced towards Gu Fei. This was a demon realm. A demon realm. With a thought, the ancient Qilin demon could change the heaven and earth, and then condense a fatal attack. Gu Fei was instantly in the eye of the terrifying storm, facing attacks from all directions. However, at this moment, his body emitted a vast power. In that instant, he seemed to stand outside the heaven and earth, not within the 5 elements, and beyond the ancient demon realm. What? The ancient Qilin demon was shocked. He could sense the essence of the power that emanated from Gu Fei. How could it be possible that he had cultivated such power? Rumble! The entire ancient demon realm shook. The attacks that came from all directions were all neutralized by the power that emanated from Gu Fei's body. It was as though a heaven and earth had evolved from Gu Fei's body. The chest meridian on his chest emitted vast heaven and earth power. This power was so immense that it caused the ancient Qilin demon realm to shake and crack. There were even signs of it exploding. The ancient Qilin demon could no longer maintain his composure. He was scared out of his wits. To see the first advertisement, please go to, please share, target equals, _blank. Chapter 1442. The ancient Qilin demon had kept Gu Fei into his inner world, thinking that he could easily kill Gu Fei. However, who knew that Gu Fei would release an even stronger force of his inner world? How is this possible? The ancient Qilin demon was shocked to the extreme. The heaven and earth power that was released from Gu Fei's chest meridian was spreading. The void around Gu Fei had already formed a world of its own. The laws of heaven and earth were all under his control. The ancient Qilin demon's ancient demon territory could no longer affect Gu Fei. Moreover, the heaven and earth power from Gu Fei's body continued to spread. It actually showed signs of bursting the ancient Qilin demon's inner world. This made the ancient Qilin demon feel great danger. One had to know that the inner world was closely related to one's body. It was connected to one's essence, spirit, and spirit. Once the inner world was destroyed, one would also suffer a destructive blow. If it was light, one's physical body would collapse, leaving only one's essence spirit to escape. If it was heavy, one's body and spirit would be destroyed. However, no matter which one it was, the ancient Qilin demon would only be defeated if his inner world was destroyed. Gu Fei would definitely not be merciful. Roar! The ancient Qilin demon's body emitted endless demonic light. The entire inner world was boiling. Heaven and earth power surged towards Gu Fei, trying to suppress the vast heaven and earth power that was released from Gu Fei's body. This was a battle between inner worlds. However, the ancient Qilin demon's expression changed very quickly. He realized that the heaven and earth power that was released from Gu Fei's body was vast, powerful, and impossible to resist. It was like a perfect world. The laws and order of heaven and earth had already evolved. It had the aura of heaven and earth. It was comparable to a real heaven and earth. This level of heaven and earth power was definitely not something that the ancient Qilin demon's inner world could resist. The ancient Qilin demon's inner world could not be compared to a near-perfect heaven and earth. At this moment, Gu Fei stood in the void like a supreme deity. Around him were birds, beasts, insects, fishes, flowers, trees, and even mountains and rivers. This was the reflection of a large world appearing in the void around him. He activated the power of the Hell Tao to resist the ancient Qilin's inner world. The Hell Tao was an almost perfect world created by the ancient Buddhist Lord when he was refining the 6 paths of reincarnation. Gu Fei had refined the Hell Path's heaven and earth source, so he could draw upon the Hell Path's heaven and earth energy. Rumble! The space around the ancient Qilin demon was shaking violently. Terrifying spatial cracks appeared in the void, and the sky seemed to be collapsing. Chaotic chi seeped out from the crack in space. The Qilin ancient demon coughed out a huge mouthful of blood. His inner world was on the verge of collapsing, causing him to suffer a great impact. The inner world of the ancient Qilin demon was like a bubble that swelled up and could explode at any moment with a pop. If you surrender, you will live. If you don't surrender, you will die. Gu Fei stood in the void. The heaven and earth around him were constantly being destroyed. It was as though he was creating a new world and a large world was about to appear from the void. His eyes were as sharp as a divine weapon. He looked at the ancient Qilin demon, whose body was already covered with terrifying bloody wounds. His face was calm and emotionless. You want me to submit to you? Dream on! The ancient Qilin demon was a great demon that had lived since ancient times. He had earth-shattering mystiques and the pride of an ancient demon. Wanting him to submit to a human was more unbearable than killing him. If that's the case. As soon as Gu Fei raised his hand, the inner heaven and earth energy surging out of his body instantly doubled. Boom! With a loud sound, the sky fell and the earth cracked. The ancient Qilin demon's inner world, which was already on the verge of collapse, immediately exploded. The ancient Qilin demon was the first to bear the brunt of the collapse of his inner world. At the moment his physical body collapsed, he turned into a bloody mist. A ball of demonic light wrapped around a small figure broke through the chaos and rushed out. That was the essence spirit of the ancient Qilin demon. Although his physical body was destroyed, his essence spirit survived and broke through the chaos to escape. Humph! Gu Fei protected himself with the inner world energy as he traversed through the chaos. He had already locked on to the essence spirit of the ancient Qilin demon. He broke through the chaos and chased after it. The destructive power formed by the collapse of his inner world was absolutely unimaginable. It could turn a part of the void into an extremely chaotic place without any order. If it was an ordinary expert, or even a half-saint, he or she would have been killed by this chaotic energy. However, Gu Fei was protected by the energy of the world and was untouchable. Therefore, this kind of energy could not affect him in the slightest. All the chaotic power that surged towards Gu Fei was dissolved by the heaven and earth energy from the Hell Dao. It could not get close to him. Boom! Gu Fei broke through the chaos like a peerless god of war. He killed his way back into the untainted world, shocking all the demons. At this time, a purple demonic light flashed at the end of the horizon and disappeared. Damn it! Gu Fei knew that he could not catch up with the essence spirit of the ancient Qilin demon even if he had the extreme speed of 8 steps. He looked at the demons in the distance with his sharp eyes. Under the gaze of Gu Fei, all the demons broke out in a cold sweat. This was definitely a killer. Even the ancient Qilin demon was not his match. Unless the demon lord returned, no one in the entire wilderness demon clan would be a match for this human mighty figure. Gu Fei intimidated the demons, but he did not attack them. However, the demons were trembling with fear. They were afraid that Gu Fei would attack them. Boom! At that moment, a loud sound rang out from afar. The entire world shook violently as a terrifying energy ripple spread out, causing the earth to undulate violently like waves. Hey Tian! Gu Fei abruptly looked in the direction of the voice and instantly disappeared from the spot. The battle between He Tian and the 4 demons finally came to an end. The 2 saint-tier powers exploded and destroyed the heaven and earth. Even the sky was pierced through. The area within a radius of thousands of miles was destroyed. The 4 ancient diagrams were blown away. Among the 4 great demons, 3 of them were turned into blood mist on the spot. Although one of them didn't die on the spot, he suffered an unimaginably heavy injury and was on the verge of death. As for He Tian, it was unknown whether he was dead or alive. Swoosh! Gu Fei appeared in the void. Seeing this scene, he could not help but be shocked. Could He Tian be dead? If something happened to He Tian, the entire wilderness demon clan would be buried with him. A heaven-shaking killing intent gushed out from Gu Fei's body. Sensing Gu Fei's killing intent, the great demons in the distance felt a chill run down their spines. They quickly retreated, not daring to stay any longer. Target ___. At this time, the entire broken chaos was only a few hundred feet wide, and the chaotic void was rapidly shrinking. However, just as the chaotic void was about to be completely repaired by the untainted world's law of heaven and earth, a terrifying and powerful wave suddenly rushed out of the chaos. What? As soon as the great demons sensed the aura, their expressions changed drastically, and they immediately turned to flee. The great demons actually didn't die in there, which made them panic. Boom! Just as the chaotic void was about to be completely repaired, there was a loud sound, and the repaired chaotic void suddenly collapsed again. A chaotic void that was a few hundred feet wide appeared again. Violent power swept out in all directions, and the nearby world shook again. In the void, more than a dozen spatial cracks that were thousands of feet long appeared, and the chaotic aura seeped out of these spatial cracks. With the mountain and river cauldron on top of Gu Fei's head, like an invincible god of war, he broke through the void and rushed out of the chaos. Roar! He roared angrily at the sky, and the whole world shook with his roar. A domineering aura emitted from his body, and his eyes swept across the surroundings like a peerless divine weapon. Demon Clan! Finally, Gu Fei looked in the direction of the untainted world's demon clan's lair. There was a vast aura coming from there, as if a terrifying primordial true dragon was hiding there. Target =_blank. Chapter 1444. The lair of the desolate demon race was located in a place called the Chaos Dragon Cave. It was a place that was blessed by the heavens and earth. Legend had it that it had existed since the desolate world and was the cultivation ground of a desolate true dragon. The desolate true dragon was as powerful as an extreme Tao supremacy. It was the strongest existence in the world and was regarded as a supreme demon sovereign by later generations. How could the cultivation ground of such an existence be ordinary? The news that Gu Fei was not lost in the chaos spread quickly. Afraid of Gu Fei's revenge, all the demons of the desolate demon race gathered in the Chaos Dragon Cave. The entire demon race was extremely nervous, as if they were facing a great enemy. One had to know that even the Qilin ancient demon race ended up with only a strand of his primordial spirit escaping, let alone the others. In the entire desolate demon race, perhaps only the desolate demon lord could fight against Gu Fei. Gu Fei's consecutive battles shook the entire desolate world. Whether it was killing the savage beast king or defeating the ancient demon lord, he had displayed his invincible style. Such an achievement made the few humans in the desolate world heave a sigh of relief. For countless years, the human race in the desolate world had been oppressed by the other major races. If it weren't for the fact that the major races were wary of the ancient Buddha Lord, the human race in the desolate world would have long been annihilated by the other major races. That guy is actually so powerful? In a valley filled with yin energy, a figure walked out. The figure's body glowed with Buddhist light that blocked the surrounding yin energy. It was a monk. This monk was Heavenly Monk Dharma. Heavenly Monk Dharma and Gu Fei fought in the ancient Buddha Lord's second Buddhist palace. They broke through the passage to the desolate world and entered the desolate world together. The Buddhist disciples of the Heavenly Buddha sect more or less knew the use of the 9 Buddhist palaces refined by the ancient Buddha Lord. However, the third Buddhist palace contained many great secrets. It was a desolate world. Legend had it that during the desolate era, the ancient Buddha Lord had cut off a piece of the real desolate world and refined it. Perhaps only an extreme supreme being would be capable of such a move. Soon, a black shadow appeared in the valley. It was a shadow surrounded by yin energy. It was like a ghost. This is... The figure that was emitting a sinister aura circled around the valley and stood at the spot where Heavenly Monk Fa Li had stood before. Buddhism. This mysterious figure emitted such spiritual fluctuations. The illusory figure was like a light smoke that could dissipate at any time. Then, the mysterious figure also disappeared from the valley, without a trace. At this moment, Gu Fei had arrived at a valley far away from the lair of the desolate demon clan. He then released He Tian from the mountain and river cauldron. The invisible sword was put away by Gu Fei. A ball of light wrapped around He Tian's primordial spirit and floated in front of Gu Fei. The power of stars spread out from the ball of light. Numerous cracks appeared on the star bead. It seemed like it could collapse at any time. The power emitted by the four-sided ancient map was too strong. It was imprinted with the great path divine law of the ancient demon saint, and could display the power of the ancient demon saint. The star bead was merely a divine weapon of an almighty being. Although it was also branded with Tao patterns, it could not be compared to the four-sided ancient diagram. The reason why Erebus was able to survive was because of the invisible divine sword. The invisible sword was a divine weapon. It was not inferior to the four-sided ancient map. Boss! Haitian sat cross-legged in the star bead. The power of his primordial spirit was very weak. Not only was his physical body destroyed, but his primordial spirit had also been affected. It was difficult for him to recover in a short time. Gu Fei did not say anything. He directly opened the inner world and walked in with Haitian. This was a divine land. After Gu Fei obtained it, it became more and more lively. The concentration of spiritual qi here was comparable to any grotto heaven in the world. With the nourishment of the divine spring of life here, there was unlimited potential for growth. Gu Fei came to the largest divine spring of life in the depths of the inner world. There was an immortal herb rooted there. It was a herb shaped like a real dragon. Gu Fei came here to ask the immortal ancestral herb for a drop of immortal liquid. The immortal ancestral herb had lived for countless years. Although it did not have any great magical powers, it had a mind of its own. When Gu Fei told it his purpose, the immortal herb refused at first, but in the end, it spat out a drop of purple liquid. A drop of violet divine liquid flew towards Gu Fei and gave off a powerful aura of life. This was a peerless divine medicine that could bring people back to the brink of death. The immortal ancestral herb was rooted in Gu Fei's inner world. Since Gu Fei had a request, the immortal ancestral herb could not refuse. When Haitian saw that Gu Fei had asked the ancestral dragon immortal herb for a drop of immortal divine elixir, he couldn't help feeling excited. With this drop of immortal divine elixir, he would definitely be able to reconstruct his physical body. Gu Fei left this place and chose a mouthful of divine spring of life. Then, he started to reconstruct Mai Tian's body. The star bead floated above the divine spring of life like a star. Endless life essence began to gather towards the star bead. The process of reconstructing a body was extremely slow, and the amount of life essence consumed was also tremendous. However, during this process, Haitian obtained great benefits. Under the endless life essence, Haitian's yuan spirit gradually grew stronger. It was even stronger than before he was injured. It could be said that Haitian had profited from this disaster. In the end, the star bead still shattered. Haitian's yuan spirit began to enter the depths of the divine spring of life. With the boundless life essence and the drop of immortal ancestral dragon elixir, Erebus's reconstructed body would probably be even stronger than his previous body. After all this was done, Gu Fei left his inner world. Haitian's reconstructed body couldn't be completed in a short time. It required time. This wasn't an ordinary rebirth of flesh and blood. In the Chaos Dragon Cave, a group of great demons was nervously on guard. There were even figures of incomparably powerful ancient demons walking around. There wasn't just one Qilin ancient demon in the desolate demon race. On this day, the great demons in the Chaos Dragon Cave discovered a suspicious figure in the nearby area. A great demon found a demon race's corpse. Is it finally here? A figure sitting in the Chaotic Dragon Cave opened his eyes, from which a cyan divine light shot out, several feet long. An extremely powerful aura emanated from this figure, causing all the demons in the Chaos Dragon Cave to tremble in fear. This was an ancient demon that had lived for countless years. Even the Qilin ancient demon was a descendant of this ancient demon. It was hard to imagine how powerful such an existence was. There's such an existence in the demon race? On a mountain peak 3,000 miles away from the Chaos Dragon Cave, a figure looked in the direction of the Chaos Dragon Cave and muttered to himself. His eyes emitted a dazzling divine light. Target equals _blank. Chapter 1445. In the area where the Chaos Dragon Cave was located, there was a Tao power lingering around. This was the power of the chaotic true dragon from ancient times. Although countless years had passed, this power still did not dissipate. The power of the extreme Tao Supremes could suppress all great Taos and disturb a part of the world. Wherever the Supremes were, all great Taos would be trampled under their feet. In this world, only the Tao of the Supremes could be tolerated. The influence of the extreme Tao True Dragon on this part of the world still existed and could not be erased. In the past few days, Gu Fei had been roaming around the area near the Chaos Dragon Cave. This area was definitely a rare place in the world. It was filled with endless mysteries and was created by heaven and earth. Although Gu Fei's formation cultivation was not as good as He Tian's, he also knew how to observe the general situation of the world and the layout of the mountains and lakes. It was because he could see the power of this place that he did not dare to make a move. This place did not seem to be inferior to the extreme Tao Beast Imperial Palace at the peak of the holy mountain of the Savage Beast. Gu Fei did not enter the extreme Tao Beast Palace at the peak of the Royal Mountain, so he did not know what was inside. But now, when he came to the Chaos Dragon Cave, he felt a heart-palpitating aura. For several days, Gu Fei captured more than a dozen experts of the demon race, and then used the God-seizing secret technique to search their sea of consciousness. From these experts' sea of consciousness, Gu Fei found out what he wanted to know. Apart from a few great demons who resisted with all their might, Gu Fei did not kill the other experts of the demon race. A dragon lair that once had a chaotic true dragon? Gu Fei stood on a mountain peak 3,000 miles away from the Chaos Dragon Cave. Under the moonlight, the place was filled with rising dragon chi, and one could vaguely see the shadow of a dragon. He found that if he carefully sensed, there would be a torrential aura surging towards him. This aura was powerful enough to crush him. It was invincible. OM! The cauldron of mountain and river vibrated within Gu Fei's body, helping Gu Fei to dissolve the unstoppable and terrifying aura. Only then did Gu Fei not suffer much of an impact. However, this invincible aura caused Gu Fei's face to turn pale, and his Tao heart was almost shaken. Extreme Tao True Dragon. The Grand Emperor was not the only extreme Tao True Dragon in the world, just like the Supreme Tao Ancestor and the Buddhist Lord were not the only extreme Tao Supremes in the human race. The aura that Gu Fei sensed did not belong to the Tai Sovereign. He was very familiar with the Tai Sovereign's aura because Old Tortoise had the Tai Sovereign's seal. This savage world was not simple. The Emperor Mountain of the Savage Beast had once produced an extreme Tao Beast Emperor, and the Chaos Dragon Cave of the demon race was once the cultivation ground of an extreme Tao True Dragon. Could it be a coincidence? Gu Fei vaguely felt that there might be some connection between them. Otherwise, how could there be two places that had produced extreme past Supreme Masters appearing in this world at the same time? Moreover, the distance between the two places was not that far. However, this was not the time for Gu Fei to pursue this matter. His top priority now was to obtain the corner of the extreme Tao array in the hands of the savage beasts. From the sea of consciousness of the other demon race experts, Gu Fei knew that the corner of the extreme Tao array was carved on a piece of dragon scale. It was a piece of dragon scale that had fallen off the body of an extreme Tao True Dragon. This piece of dragon scale was extraordinary. It was a piece of armor that had fallen off the body of an extreme Tao True Dragon. This piece of scale was an immortal material that floated in the depths of the Chaos Dragon Cave. Even the ancient demons could not get close to that place. The dragon scale had a trace of the aura of an extreme Tao True Dragon attached to it. Even the powerful demon lord of the savage beasts could not withstand that aura, let alone the other greater demons. The depths of the Chaos Dragon Cave was a forbidden area for the savage beasts. How can I enter the depths of the Chaos Dragon Cave? Gu Fei muttered to himself. This was a difficult task, unless he could get past the greater demons of the savage beasts. Swoosh! Just as Gu Fei was pondering, a huge bird suddenly rushed out of the Chaos Dragon Cave. It was a beast shaped like a great ping. Its wings were spread wide like the clouds in the sky. An extremely powerful wave of demonic energy rippled out from the body of the great pin, shaking the heavens and earth. Even Gu Fei couldn't help but be secretly shocked. This greater demon has discovered me even though I'm 3,000 miles away from the Chaos Dragon Cave? Gu Fei stared at the huge bird flying towards him. His eyes flashed with an incomparably sharp light. With just a flap of its wings, the huge bird instantly flew above Gu Fei. The entire sky suddenly darkened. 2 golden claws swiped towards Gu Fei. The claws were pulsing with divine light. As long as he was caught by these claws, he would be torn to shreds. The ancient Ping demon has made his move. Such power has probably surpassed the almighty realm. The ancient Ping demon is a half-sage, someone whispered. Some recognized the identity of the ancient Ping demon. They were all extremely shocked. How could a person that had disappeared appear again? Against the ancient Ping demon's attack, Gu Fei only took 1 step and dodged it. He then ascended into the sky and used the 8 steps 8 kills, stomping down on the ancient Ping below. Boom! Chapter 1446. The ancient Fei Tianping was incomparably powerful. He sent Gu Fei flying the moment they exchanged blows. He flapped his wings, stirring up gusts of strong winds that sent sand and pebbles flying. Exclamation point. Roar! Gu Fei roared angrily. He was like a god of war as he charged back from afar. He extended his hand and sent a palm strike at the ancient Fei Tianping in the sky. The palm force of extreme yang shook the heaven and earth. Even the ancient Fei Tianping's expression changed. Boom! Gu Fei's palm force collided with the ancient Fei Tianping's wings. This time, the ancient Fei Tianping failed to send Gu Fei flying. The mountain-like Great Ping was shaken by Gu Fei's palm strike. Swish! The Great Ping rapidly shrank and turned into an eagle-headed human. He stood in the void with a murderous aura and vast demonic power. Were you the one who destroyed the Qilin's physical body? The ancient Fei Tianping stared at Gu Fei with a murderous glint in his eyes. The Qilin ancient Fei's physical body was destroyed, and only his essence spirit managed to escape. This shocked him greatly. There were only 2 ancient Fei in the entire desolate demon race, the ancient Qilin demon and the ancient Fei Tianping ancient Fei. The ancient Fei Tianping knew the strength of the ancient Fei Tianping. He found it hard to imagine that a human mighty figure could defeat the ancient Fei Tianping. However, from the looks of it, this human mighty figure was indeed not simple. So what if it was me? Gu Fei said indifferently. Although the other party was extremely powerful, he was not afraid. The stronger the other party was, the more excited he was. He would use the other party as a whetstone to temper his martial body. Very well! An incomparably powerful aura burst forth from the heavenly Ping ancient demon's body. After that, he disappeared from where he was. In the next moment, he appeared in front of Gu Fei and a pair of sharp claws were aimed at Gu Fei's head. Swish! An afterimage of Gu Fei was torn apart by the ancient Fei Tianping's sharp claws. His real body used the void steps and retreated 100 kilometers in a single step. Where do you think you're going? The ancient Fei Tianping bellowed and also left an afterimage on the spot. His real body instantly traversed a distance of 50 kilometers and chased after Gu Fei. Run? Ridiculous! Hearing this, Gu Fei couldn't help but be a bit annoyed. A powerful energy erupted from his body. Yin and Yang energy wove together, and a yin-yang Dao diagram appeared from his body. This is... The heavenly Ping ancient demon immediately stopped when he saw this. Buzz! The yin-yang Dao diagram trembled, emitting a wisp of Dao charm. Gu Fei's right fist and left fist respectively turned into the extreme yang and extreme yin of the yin-yang Dao diagram. Boom! Heaven and earth shook as he struck out with the yin-yang reincarnation fist. Heavenly Ping ancient Fei was shocked. This was a manifestation of the great Tao. The power of the great Tao had turned into a tangible mark. This was a trace of the Tao. Such an attack was more terrifying than any other attack. The ancient demon sensed danger. He never thought that Yi Futian would be able to cultivate such a great technique and attract the power of the great Tao. This caused his expression to turn incomparably grim. Roar! Heavenly Ping Ancient Fei roared angrily. Under the pressure of Gu Fei's yin-yang fist, a huge shadow of a Heavenly Ping emerged from his body. A monstrous murderous aura spread out. This was a mystic art of the Heavenly Ping lineage. It stimulated the power of the progenitor's bloodline and attracted the power of the progenitor, allowing one's combat power to soar to a level that could be said to be invincible among those of the same level. Heavenly Ping Ancient Fei fused with the shadow of the Heavenly Ping that emerged from his body. Then, he flapped his wings and thousands of feathers flew up. They turned into thousands of chaotic divine lights and pierced towards Gu Fei. Each ray of chaotic divine light pierced through the void and destroyed the void, displaying a terrifying power. However, such a terrifying attack was easily resolved by the yin-yang Dao diagram. The power of yin and yang interwove. The yin and yang energy wove together. The yin-yang reincarnation fist that Gu Fei struck out had attracted the power of the great Tao and evolved a kind of profound meaning of heaven and earth. The mighty fist force from the yin-yang Dao diagram broke through the thousands of chaotic divine lights and hit the shadow of the Heavenly Ping that was as huge as a mountain. Bam! The yin-yang fist force seemed to have hit a tangible object as the huge shadow of the Heavenly Ping was sent flying. How is this possible? Heavenly Ping Ancient Fei spat out a mouthful of blood as he was sent flying thousands of feet away. He was on the verge of going berserk. His opponent's cultivation level was not as high as his and his strength was not as strong as his, but he was still injured. This made Heavenly Ping Ancient Fei both shocked and furious. It's impossible for you to defeat me in this place. Heavenly Ping Ancient Fei roared angrily. His body emitted demonic light as ancient demonic runes appeared on his body. Then, the yuan qi of the entire heaven and earth changed rapidly. Beams of demonic light rushed over from the direction of the Chaos Dragon Cave. Every beam of demonic light was in the shape of a dragon and emitted an aura that made one's heart palpitate. Gu Fei was taken aback. This ancient Fei had actually attracted the power of heaven and earth to his body. As the dragon-shaped demonic light entered his body, Heavenly Ping Ancient Fei's body actually emitted waves of dragon qi. Within the Chaos Dragon Cave, there was the aura of the extreme Tao True Dragon that could not be erased by the passage of time. This region was also affected. In this region, the remnant Tao charm of the extreme Tao True Dragon suppressed everything. Heavenly Ping Ancient Fei had cultivated in the Chaos Dragon Cave for countless years. Naturally, he knew how to attract the power of heaven and earth to attack his opponent. This was the remnant power of the extreme Tao True Dragon that was triggered by Heavenly Ping Ancient Fei. I'm going to shatter your great Tao divine form! Heavenly Ping Ancient Fei roared. He turned into a huge dragon and charged at Gu Fei. Bam! The yin-yang Tao diagram shook and was sent flying by the charging dragon. The extreme Tao True Dragon's great Tao suppressed everything, causing Gu Fei's yin-yang Tao diagram to be unable to circulate smoothly. Rumble! At this moment, dragon qi gushed out from the Chaos Dragon Cave. An even more terrifying power was awakening. This was the power of the extreme Tao True Dragon. Preposterous! Upon seeing this, Gu Fei did not hesitate and immediately retreated. He turned into a beam of divine light, broke through the sky and rushed into the distance. He wanted to rush out of this region. The other party was using the power of the extreme Tao True Dragon to suppress him. This made Gu Fei shocked and angry. This kind of power could not be resisted. If he did not retreat, his life would be in danger. Heavenly Ping Ancient Fei chased him for thousands of miles before turning back. This was because beyond this range, he would not be able to borrow the power of the extreme Tao True Dragon. Gu Fei used the void step and soon disappeared into the horizon. I didn't expect there to be such an existence in the demon race. Gu Fei stopped in a valley that looked like a paradise. He stood under a plum tree. He knew that the ancient Fei had not used his true strength yet. The great Tao of the extreme Tao True Dragon reigned supreme in this region. It suppressed other Tao powers. In such a place, Gu Fei's combat strength was affected. It was difficult for him to fully display the yin-yang reincarnation fist. This was only Gu Fei's first test. A storm was coming. To see the first advertisement, please go to. Please share. Target equals _blank. Chapter 1447. Neither Gu Fei nor Tian Peng had used their full strength. Both were testing each other. Gu Fei was the last to retreat. He had not been defeated. This Chaos Dragon Cave was more terrifying than he had imagined. The great Tao of the extreme Tao True Dragon still had a great influence on this region. This was not a good thing for Gu Fei. Tian Peng could activate the great Tao power within a radius of 10,000 miles to suppress Gu Fei. This was the power of the extreme Tao True Dragon. The Tao energy of the extreme Tao True Dragon disturbed the power of heaven and earth in an area. Under the envelopment of the extreme Tao True Dragon's Tao energy, only the Tao of the extreme Tao True Dragon was respected, suppressing all other Tao energy. The heavenly Ping ancient demon was already invincible within the Chaos Dragon Cave. Given Gu Fei's current cultivation and strength, it was difficult to contend with such power, unless he used the mountain and river cauldron or an extreme Tao sacred weapon like the purple gold divine sword. Tian Peng returned to the Chaos Dragon Cave. With such an ancient demon guarding it, it would not be easy for Gu Fei to obtain the dragon scale with the extreme Tao array pattern. However, Gu Fei was determined to obtain the dragon scale. The legendary gate of reincarnation from the mythological era was also very attractive to Gu Fei. If the legend was true, then the value of the gate of reincarnation was definitely comparable to an extreme Tao sacred weapon. Gu Fei did not want to miss out on such an item. The night in the untainted world was still filled with killing intent. In the silence, one or two beast roars could be heard from time to time. Countless creatures that lurked during the day had begun to move. The venomous bugs and snakes here were even more terrifying than those in the outside world. Some of them could even bite an immortal to death with a single bite. Gu Fei sat cross-legged on a mountain peak. As the mountain breeze blew, his long hair fluttered behind him. The recent series of battles had increased his cultivation again. The mighty realm was divided into 9 heavens. Only those who stood at the 5th heavens could be called the Emperor of Mighty Beings. Those who stood at the peak of the 9 heavens were the Emperor of Mighty Beings. Gu Fei was only at the 2nd heaven of Almighty, but with his physique, he could already challenge the Emperor of Emperors at the 9th heaven. Have I reached a bottleneck again? Gu Fei murmured to himself. He woke up from his meditative state. Looking into his body, he found that the chaotic energy in his dantian had grown to the size of a pigeon's egg. Although the ball of chaotic essence was small, it seemed to be nurturing a world of chaos within it. The power of yin and yang constantly gathered before being refined into chaotic essence. This process was very slow, but Gu Fei could feel the primal essence qi increasing bit by bit. Yin and yang transformed into primal chaos. Gu Fei's martial Tao true force was transforming from the most primitive power. The most primitive power was the strongest power, the source of all power. Gu Fei didn't cultivate a single power. He chose a more difficult path. The path he walked was more dangerous and full of thorns than ordinary martial artists. At this time, Gu Fei's yin and yang energy was exuberant. The Tao patterns imprinted on his bones gradually became clearer, and the power of the great Tao was condensing. Imprinting the great Tao on one's body could allow one to achieve eternity. This was a martial artist's body tempering method. It could allow the martial body to coexist with the great Tao, making it immortal. This was the process of the indestructible martial body's birth. As long as Gu Fei's cultivation broke through to the 3rd heaven of Almighty, he would have the confidence to challenge a half-saint. Martial artists who were successful in cultivation were invincible in the same realm. This was not a legend, but a reality. Gu Fei felt that his cultivation had reached a bottleneck. Perhaps he only needed a fierce battle to break through his current cultivation shackles. Placing oneself on the edge of life and death would stimulate the potential of the martial body, allowing the martial body to sublimate. This was a cultivation shortcut, but it required a great risk. It seems that a battle with that ancient demon is inevitable. Gu Fei stood up from the mountain peak and looked in the direction of the Chaos Dragon Cave. A powerful battle intent emanated from his body. He could feel the blood in his body boiling. Erebus was currently in the process of reconstructing his physical body, so he couldn't be of any help. However, he still had his saint-grade puppet avatar, as well as his extreme path holy weapon. If he used all his trump cards, it wouldn't be impossible for him to obtain that dragon scale. Gu Fei thought of various possibilities. Although the power of the supreme true dragon was hiding in the Chaos Dragon Cave, he still had a chance if he was well prepared. Right now, he needed a battle. For the next few days, Gu Fei appeared in the vicinity of the Chaos Dragon Cave. He was planning and imprinting Tao patterns on the mountains and rivers. He wanted to borrow the power of heaven and earth. Attacking the Chaos Dragon Cave was not a trivial matter. The reason why the desolate Era demon race had been able to prosper and not disappear in the long years was because of the existence of the Chaos Dragon Cave. Since ancient times, no one had truly breached this forbidden ground of the desolate Era demon race. What Gu Fei was about to do was simply too inconceivable. Even Gu Fei himself only had a 50% chance of success, not 100%. 7 or 8 days later, on a dark and windy night, Gu Fei buried the mountain and river cauldron into the ground. Then, he waited for an opportunity. More than half a month had passed, and Gu Fei did not make a move. He was very patient. At this time, the great demon in the Chaos Dragon Cave gradually relaxed its tense nerves. They guessed that the human powerhouse had retreated. However, no one knew that Gu Fei was waiting on the side. He would then attack the demons in the Chaos Dragon Cave to break the balance of power between the two sides. More than a month later, on an evening, a figure walked towards the direction of the Chaos Dragon Cave alone. It was a powerhouse of the human race. With every step he took, there was a surge of Tao beneath his feet. The powerful aura exuded from this powerhouse was felt by all the demons in the forbidden ground of the demon race. This person did not hide his aura. Wasn't that person defeated by an ancient powerhouse of my race? Why does he still dare to come here? Some demons felt that this aura was unique to the powerhouse of the human race that was defeated by Tianping a month ago. Whoosh! A figure sitting in the depths of the chaotic dragon cave immediately opened his eyes. 2 beams of divine light shot out from his eyes, each several feet long. Again? How reckless! After saying this, the ancient demon's figure instantly disappeared on the spot. At this time, all the demons in the Chaos Dragon Cave were shocked. They thought that this human powerhouse would not dare to come again. But now, this human powerhouse came again. Ever since Gu Fei entered the forbidden ground of the demon race, other forces in the wildlands had their eyes on the wildlands demon race, especially the wildlands beast race. The wildlands beast race knew what Gu Fei was looking for. The wildlands demon race's dragon scale was not lost. In other words, Gu Fei was still eyeing the Chaos Dragon Cave. Today, all these guesses had come true. Gu Fei entered the Chaos Dragon Cave alone. Target equals _blank. Gu Fei did not stop and instantly left the corpse of a dragon on the ground. There was a large hole in the dragon's head, and its origin soul was destroyed. Another great demon was easily killed by Gu Fei. Damn it! I'll fight you! A stone demon whose body emitted a dazzling golden light walked over from the direction of the chaotic dragon cave. Its huge body was 10 feet tall, and it gave off a strong sense of oppression. This time, Gu Fei stopped in his tracks. He was very surprised. He activated the martial path Heavenly Eye and immediately saw the source that was striding over. This stone demon was actually a metal element divine stone of the 5 elements. After a long time, it had gained sentience and cultivated the body of a greater demon. Boundless metal elemental energy emanated from this stone demon's body. This stone demon was far stronger than the 2 greater demons from before. The time needed for a divine stone to become a demon was absolutely unimaginable. It could easily be calculated in tens of thousands of years. This stone demon had probably cultivated for hundreds of thousands of years to grow to this stage. Die! With a few steps, the stone demon had already arrived in front of Gu Fei. It then directly punched down at Gu Fei. The fist was like a small mountain, and the void collapsed. The stone demon had a demon body that had cultivated for hundreds of thousands of years. It was innately strong, and it unexpectedly clashed head-on with Gu Fei. There were no tricks at all. "Heh!" Gu Fei shouted and also punched out. It was rare to meet such an opponent. He wanted to see if his opponent's 10,000-year demon body was stronger, or if his almighty martial body was stronger. The body of a martial artist was the strongest body in the human race. When the martial body was cultivated to the great completion realm, it could be said to be indestructible. It was even stronger than the physique of an innate divine beast. Gu Fei's martial body was still far from the great completion realm. However, the strength of the almighty martial body was enough to resist a half-saint weapon refined by a half-saint. Boom! The two fists of completely different sizes collided, but an incomparably shocking sound burst out. It was as if two ancient divine mountains had collided in an instant. Gu Fei withstood the stone demon's ferocious attack, but the ground beneath his feet caved in and undulated violently like ripples on water. With Gu Fei at the center, the shockwave spread out in all directions, causing the nearby mountains to crumble and dust to fly into the air. It was a chaotic scene. This place was less than 5,000 miles away from the chaotic dragon cave. The fluctuation here had long been sensed by the ancient demon in the chaotic dragon cave. However, for some reason, the ancient demon did not appear. At this moment, Gu Fei's fist collided with the stone demon's fist. The stone demon's fist was extremely heavy, and he felt as if his fist was pressing against 100,000 mountains. Good fella! The strength of the stone demon was so strong that even Gu Fei couldn't help but be shocked. If the stone demon's fist were to hit the body of an ordinary almighty, the opponent would have been killed in an instant. Unfortunately, the stone demon's opponent was Gu Fei. Roar! Gu Fei roared. The yin and yang true force in his body was vast and mighty. An even more powerful force erupted from his fist, and unexpectedly, the stone demon's mountain-like fist was slowly repelled. What? In the distance, all the great demons who witnessed this scene were dumbfounded. This human almighty actually suppressed the stone demon in terms of strength. How was this possible? This was too unbelievable. One had to know that the demon body of the stone demon had been cultivating for more than 100,000 years. Apart from that, before the stone demon gained sentience, its stone body had been nourished by the spiritual energy of heaven and earth for countless years. This kind of demon body was definitely one of the strongest demon bodies in the world, but now, the stone demon's strength was actually inferior to this human almighty. Was this possible? The stone demon's body emitted a dazzling golden light. It roared again and again, and continuously exerted its strength. The entire heaven and earth collapsed, and pitch-black spatial cracks appeared. However, no matter how fierce the stone demon was, Gu Fei still stood there like an ancient sacred mountain, motionless and unshakable. Recommend? Fly. Speed? Medium? 1? Net? Target equals _blank. Chapter 1449. The rock demon was incomparably powerful. He was definitely an expert of the demon clan. His cultivation and strength were comparable to an ancient demon, especially with his metal element demon body. Even an ancient demon would not be able to hurt him. Whoosh! He had a powerful demon body, and his cultivation and strength were comparable to an ancient demon. Among the demon clan of the wilderness, there was no other existence like him. However, such an existence could not gain the upper hand against Gu Fei. His powerful demon body showed signs of being suppressed by Gu Fei's martial body. Roar! The rock demon roared angrily, and the whole world shook. A violent force erupted from his body, causing the void to tremble. His stone hair danced wildly, and his killing intent soared to the 9 heavens. Although he had gone all out, the rock demon did not reverse the situation. His fist, which was the size of a small mountain, was gradually forced back by the opponent's fist. How is this possible? The demons watching from afar were all shocked. No one could accept such an ending. The rock demon's strength was undeniable, but now he was gradually being suppressed by the human clan. Go and invite old ancestor Tian Ping! A greater demon shouted. Only an ancient demon would be able to fight against this human. His opponent was simply too powerful. Other than ancient demons, no one else could stop his advance. Ha ha! Ha ha! Ha ha! Ha ha! Moreover, 2 great demon clan experts had already died in the hands of this human clan almighty. This human clan almighty could kill great demons in the almighty realm as easily as blowing off dust. Some demons immediately rushed to the sky and flew towards the chaotic dragon cave. They wanted to invite the ancient demon Heavenly Peng to deal with Gu Fei. When Gu Fei first entered the dragon cave, he was chased away by the power of the chaotic true dragon triggered by the ancient Fei Heavenly Peng. In the hearts of the demons, only the ancient Fei Heavenly Peng could kill this powerful human. Kill! Gu Fei shouted. An even more powerful force erupted from his fist. Then, the rock demon was sent flying hundreds of feet away by this force. The rock demon was extremely shocked. Golden blood flowed out of his golden fist. The rock demon's body had already formed flesh and blood. He was an incomparably powerful life form. The stone demon found it hard to believe that there was actually someone in this world that could injure his body. It had to be known that his body was as strong as a saint weapon. Even if a saint weapon were to attack his body, it would be difficult to truly injure him. However, the human in front of it had injured its strongest demon body with just one punch. This was something the stone demon could not accept. It was too unbelievable. Even after cultivating for hundreds of thousands of years, it was still not a match for this human. This caused the stone demon to be both shocked and furious. It was on the verge of going berserk. The metal elemental energy around its body surged violently, showing signs of going berserk. Rays of golden light circled around the stone demon's body, as dazzling as golden lightning. A dangerous aura emanated from the stone demon's body. However, Gu Fei was similarly shocked, because he had practically used his full strength in this punch of his. Even if it was a real piece of 5 elements godly metal, it would still be smashed into pieces by his punch. The body of the stone demon was very powerful. At the very least, it was the most powerful body that Gu Fei had encountered since he started cultivating. It was so powerful that even Gu Fei himself could not smash it into pieces. The martial body of the human race was definitely one of the most powerful bodies in the world. The body of the stone demon had already reached the point where it was comparable to the martial body of the human race. Golden Domain! The stone demon roared angrily. Countless demonic inscriptions immediately rushed out of its body. The demonic inscriptions were imprinted in the air, forming a golden world. The demonic inscriptions isolated the aura of the outside world, forming a part of the void. In this golden domain, the stone demon was the supreme demon god. Gu Fei did not make a move. He allowed the stone demon to form the golden domain. In an instant, he was trapped in a dazzling golden world. In this void, all that could be seen was golden light. Rays of golden light constantly flashed in this part of the void. They were so fast that it was almost impossible to see them with the naked eye. Swoosh! A golden ray of light rushed past Gu Fei. A corner of his sleeve was swept by this ray of light. In an instant, it turned into ashes and dissipated in the void. Gu Fei was shocked. These golden rays of light actually had such terrifying power. This time, he was a little careless. The void of the stone demon seemed to be very extraordinary. Humph! You are too confident. The stone demon's figure, which was shining with golden light, walked over from afar. A strong sense of oppression immediately appeared in this part of the void. Do you think that you can defeat me like this? Gu Fei smiled. His face was still indifferent, showing no emotion. It had to be said that the golden domain of the stone demon was very powerful. However, it was still not enough to suppress him with such power. Won't you know after you try? The stone demon didn't say much. He directly attacked. Countless golden rays of light that lingered around him immediately shot towards Gu Fei. The golden divine rainbows that covered the sky gave off terrifying ripples that made people's hearts palpitate. Every single divine rainbow was enough to kill a powerful being. They were extremely powerful. Gu Fei stood in the golden domain. He couldn't avoid it at all. Because in this golden domain, the golden rays of light that the stone demon shot out were everywhere. Humph! Gu Fei snorted. Then, his hands turned into yin and yang. He used the yin-yang reincarnation fist. A yin-yang diagram immediately emerged from his body. He propped up the yin-yang diagram and protected himself under it. The golden beams of light that pierced through from all directions instantly collided with the yin-yang Dao diagram. A yin-yang power surged out from the diagram, blocking all the golden beams of light that pierced through it. The power of yin and yang emanated from Gu Fei's fists. Yin and yang intertwined and evolved into a flawless fist intent. As his fists vibrated, countless golden rays of light collapsed. Circles of the power of yin and yang spread out from Gu Fei's fists. The place where he stood was impregnable. Not even a drop of water could enter. What? The stone demon was shocked when he saw this. Yi Futian's combat power was too amazing. He was able to resist such an attack. It had to be known that this was in his own domain. The power of yin and yang intertwined as if it was evolving into heaven and earth. It made Gu Fei untouchable. Even though he was in his opponent's domain, he could still move freely. I don't believe that I can't kill you! The stone demon began to fight desperately. The fluctuations of the golden demon power that emanated from his body reached its peak. Demon tattoos began to appear on his body. The power of the Great Path was condensing, and each demon tattoo was emitting a brilliant golden light. Then, it was branded into the void from the stone demon's body. The demon tattoo of the Great Path emitted an eternal demon light. It imprinted itself on Gu Fei. Each demon tattoo was a trace of the Great Path, and there was the power of the Great Path lingering around it. When Gu Fei saw this scene, he couldn't help but be surprised. This kind of method was not something that could be used by an ordinary cultivator of the Severing Path. To use the power of the Great Path to kill an opponent was really amazing. The demon tattoos came to kill, making Gu Fei feel a strong pressure. The power of the entire golden domain was triggered by countless demon tattoos of the Great Path. All of them rushed towards Gu Fei. The stone demon used his trump card, vowing to kill Gu Fei. How dare you! Gu Fei couldn't help but be shocked. The power of the Great Path couldn't be resisted. The yin-yang Dao diagram that he had evolved suffered a great impact. The power of yin and yang was constantly being dissolved, and the yin-yang Dao diagram gradually shrank. Soon, countless demon tattoos of the Great Path surrounded Gu Fei. The power of the Great Path was vast, and each demon tattoo was emitting a brilliant golden light. It triggered the power of the Great Path to refine Gu Fei. The vast and mighty strength that surged out from the yin-yang Dao diagram was suppressed. Gu Fei felt a sense of danger, but he remained fearless. Humph! You still won't die this time? When the stone demon saw that Gu Fei was suppressed, his confidence increased. This was his last resort. If he couldn't kill his opponent, then he would be in danger. This level is not enough! Gu Fei's voice was still calm, without the slightest hint of nervousness. He could also use the power of the Great Path, and his Dao tattoo was branded on his bones. The yin-yang Dao diagram that evolved from the yin-yang reincarnation fist could no longer resist the suppression of the demon tattoos of the Great Path. He had to shake his muscles and bones and condense his power of the Great Path. Within Gu Fei's body, there was the sound of wind and thunder. The Dao tattoo that was branded on his bones began to devour the power of yin and yang. Then, it gradually emitted a brilliant divine light. An aura of the Great Path surged out from Gu Fei's body. What? When the stone demon sensed this aura of the Great Path, his expression suddenly changed. He knew that he was in trouble. At this time, the divine tattoos of the Great Path began to appear on Gu Fei's body. These were the Dao tattoo that he had cultivated. Each Dao tattoo was branded into his flesh and bones. The power of the Great Path surged, and the rhythm of the great path lingered. Gu Fei's entire body seemed to have become the carrier of the great path, as if he had fused with it. The great path is with me. How can you suppress me? Gu Fei seemed to have become the incarnation of the great path. The power of the yin-yang reincarnation fist surged out, and an even more powerful yin-yang Tao diagram emerged from his body. Rumble! The two powers of the great path collided, and the demon tattoos of the great path could no longer advance. They were blocked by the yin-yang Tao diagram. Gu Fei circulated his power of the great path and turned it into traces of the great path to resist the stone demon's demon tattoos. At this time, Gu Fei's entire body and mind had entered a mysterious state. At this time, he displayed the peak of his power. Eat my fist! On Gu Fei's fist, the Tao tattoo emerged. He punched out, and the entire golden domain trembled. An extremely powerful fist force erupted from his fist. Wherever the fist force passed, it destroyed everything. A large number of demon tattoos of the great path were blasted away. This was an invincible fist will. It pressed forward as if it could destroy everything. Target equals _blank. Chapter 1450. Gu Fei and the Golem battled. Both sides used their strongest strength, but Gu Fei had the upper hand. With a single punch, he broke the seal of the Golem's great path. The yin-yang reincarnation fist manifested the great path of yin and yang. Gu Fei's combat strength was unparalleled. He forcefully broke through the seal of the Golem's great path. With the imprint of the great path on his body, Gu Fei was like the carrier of the great path. Nothing could touch him. He took the initiative to attack the Golem. His fist shook the entire gold domain. The entire gold domain was cracked by Gu Fei's fist force. The Golem also suffered a great impact. Its body trembled. How is this possible? The Golem roared. He knew that he had lost. His opponent's combat strength was too strong. Although he was unwilling, he had to admit that he was no match for his opponent. Even after using the power of the great path, he still lost. Bang! Gu Fei sent the Golem flying with a punch. There was no suspense. Even in the Golem's domain, he was still invincible. The great path divine patterns appeared on his body. Every move he made was imbued with the power of the great path. Every punch and kick could shatter the void. After sending the Golem flying with a punch, Gu Fei directly tore the gold domain apart and stepped out. Above the mountain, a large amount of golden light shot out. A figure like a peerless god of war, bathed in the golden light, walked out from the void. This is... The demons watching from afar were all dumbfounded when they saw that person. The person who walked out from the Golem's domain was not the Golem. Didn't that mean that the Golem was already dead? This place was not far from the Chaos Dragon Cave. However, the demons who went to invite Heavenly Ping had not returned yet. Heavenly Ping did not appear. What's going on? Why hasn't old ancestor Heavenly Ping arrived yet? The great demons were uneasy. Gu Fei had even defeated the stone demon. Was there anyone else in the entire desolate demon race that could compete with this human? Unless the Heavenly Ping ancient demon took action, no one could stop Gu Fei. Moreover, Gu Fei came prepared this time. Even if the Heavenly Ping ancient demon took action, Gu Fei wouldn't retreat so easily. Gu Fei was determined to obtain the dragon scales in the Chaos Dragon Cave. At this time, He Tian was in Gu Fei's inner world reconstructing his body, so he had not yet recovered to his peak state. If he had He Tian's help, things might be a lot smoother. Roar! A furious roar shook the mountains and rivers. A towering figure appeared high up in the sky. The rock demon's body emitted a boundless demonic aura. It was extremely ferocious. However, there were drops of golden blood dripping down from the sky. He was punched by Gu Fei. Cracks appeared on his powerful demonic body, and golden blood seeped out from the cracks. If it was any other great demon, they would have been killed by Gu Fei's punch. One had to admit that the rock demon's demonic body was really strong. Even Gu Fei was secretly shocked by such a strong demonic body. The Rock Emperor is actually injured. How is this possible? Someone as strong as the Rock Emperor was really defeated. The Rock Demon was blessed by the heavens. After cultivating to become a great demon, he was far stronger than the average great demon. He was the strongest demon emperor in the desolate demon race apart from the Wildlands demon lord and the two ancient demons. The great demon's hearts turned cold. If the Rock Emperor wasn't a match for him, then they definitely wouldn't be a match for this human. There was only one outcome for them if they went against this human, and that was death. The Tao patterns that appeared on Gu Fei's body activated the power of the great Tao. Tao rhymes circled around him. When he punched out, the power of the great Tao surged around his fist. The metal elemental power on the Rock Emperor's body surged, and the cracks on his body healed quickly. Golden blood flowed back into his body. He flipped his right hand, and a stone saber appeared in his hand. Swish! The Rock Emperor waved the golden stone saber in his hand, and a dazzling golden saber light rushed out from the stone saber. It was thousands of feet long, and it was aimed at Gu Fei. Bam! Gu Fei punched out, and it met the golden saber light directly. The ferocious fist force smashed through the void, and it pierced through the heaven and earth. The invincible fist intent was unleashed. The golden saber light was shattered by Gu Fei's fist. Gu Fei was unstoppable. After his fist shattered the saber light, his fist force didn't diminish, and it continued to smash towards the Rock Emperor. The Rock Emperor's cultivation was strong, and it wasn't something an ordinary demon emperor could compare with. The golden stone saber in his hand had golden Tao patterns on it. Clang! The stone saber and Gu Fei's fist clashed, and a metallic sound was heard. Gu Fei actually used his fist to fight against the Rock Emperor's demonic saber. All the demons watching from afar were dumbfounded. This human's physical body was actually so strong. The Rock Emperor's demonic saber was branded with Tao patterns, and it was definitely made of saint-tier material. Using one's physical body to fight against the stone saber was definitely a crazy thing to do. Gu Fei and the Rock Emperor started fighting again. The two of them moved quickly in the sky. Although the Rock Emperor's body was huge, it was extremely fast when he moved. The size of the two of them was not proportional. It was like a golden giant fighting against a normal human. Although Gu Fei's body was much smaller than the Rock Emperor's, he was able to burst out with great power, and he was able to suppress the Rock Emperor, forcing him to retreat continuously. Buzz! The golden stone saber hummed and shot out thousands of saber lights. The heaven and earth seemed to be split in half. Within the saber light there were Tao patterns faintly visible. Roar! The Rock Emperor roared. This was his full strength. The power of his body was vast, and the power of the metal element caused the whole world to shake. Humph! Gu Fei's right hand seemed to be holding a divine sun, and his left hand was holding a bright moon. The power of yin and yang intertwined. The reincarnation fist art displayed the invincible fist will. The power of the sun exploded from his right fist, and it was like a divine sun rising into the sky. It collided with the saber light that was slashing down. The two powerful forces collided, and a blinding divine light burst out. All the demons couldn't open their eyes. The space between Gu Fei and the Rock Emperor started to be destroyed, and it turned into chaos. The two powerful forces destroyed everything. It was too terrifying. Gu Fei also felt that it was very strenuous. The Rock Emperor was much stronger than he had imagined. The shocking attack of the stone saber actually made him feel danger. The monstrous fist force was blocked. If the Tao patterns were imprinted on his body, he would probably be injured too. With the Tao patterns imprinted on his body, Gu Fei's fist had Tao patterns. He condensed his Tao power, and he could fight against the Rock Emperor's stone saber. The two of them started an intense battle in the chaos. Buzz! The stone saber vibrated repeatedly. The golden Tao patterns imprinted on the saber body emitted a dazzling golden light. Every slash seemed to be able to destroy everything in the world. Gu Fei's fists kept colliding with the stone saber. With the demon saber in hand, the Rock Emperor's combat power soared. Gu Fei couldn't suppress the Rock Emperor for a while. The great demons watching from afar were both surprised and delighted. The Stone Emperor was an old antique that had cultivated for more than 100,000 years, after all. His demon Archsaber was able to block the powerful human race's almighty. However, the ancient demon, old ancestor Heavenly Peng, didn't show up for a long time. This made Gu Fei a little apprehensive. The Heavenly Peng ancient demon was extremely powerful. His cultivation had probably reached the half-sage realm long ago. Moreover, this ancient demon could draw the power of the extreme Tao True Dragon in the Chaos Dragon Cave for his own use. Gu Fei was fearless, but he was apprehensive about the power of the extreme Tao True Dragon in the Chaos Dragon Cave. That kind of power wasn't something he could contend with. I'm done playing with you. Gu Fei used the Heaven Ascension secret art. His combat power instantly increased by 10 times. A domineering and terrifying aura spread out from his body, shocking the 9 heavens and 10 earths. Rumble. The blood in Gu Fei's body circulated rapidly. There was a muffled sound of wind and thunder. With just one punch, the demon Archsaber in the Rock Emperor's hand was sent flying. The saber was covered with cracks and was almost shattered. Swish! Gu Fei instantly disappeared from where he was. In the next moment, he appeared beside the Rock Emperor. He grabbed the Rock Emperor's right arm and pulled hard. The Rock Emperor immediately let out an earth-shattering roar. His entire arm was torn off by Gu Fei. Golden blood spurted out. He was no match for Gu Fei at all. How is this possible? Everyone was stunned. How did the situation change so drastically in such a short period of time? How did this human get so strong all of a sudden? What's going on? Is this human powerhouse pretending to be a pig to eat a tiger? Gu Fei's sudden change in aura and the terrifying combat power he displayed shocked all the big demons. Without any suspense, the Rock Emperor was defeated. In fact, he was utterly defeated. It turned out that this human had been playing with him all along. He didn't take him seriously at all. Only now did he reveal his true strength. This made the Rock Emperor feel like all his hopes were dashed. Gu Fei didn't kill him. He threw the Rock Emperor 10,000 feet away with one hand and used the Void Step. It was as if he merged with the void and disappeared instantly. Boom! Very soon, a terrifying wave of energy erupted from the Chaos Dragon Cave. Huge dragons rushed out from the huge cave that was spewing chaotic essence. Those were not real dragons. They were just illusions formed by Dragon Chi. The Dragon Chi was vast and mighty. A terrifying power that made one's heart palpitate was awakened. The Chaos Dragon Cave was bottomless. It was pitch black inside. Boundless Dragon Chi rushed out from the bottom. In the depths of the chaos, it was as if a real dragon had been awakened. Ha ha! Good that you came. I was afraid that you wouldn't come. Since you are here, don't leave! The ancient voice of the Heavenly Peng ancient demon resounded in the Chaos Dragon Cave. At the bottom of the Chaos Dragon Cave, divine light flashed and a divine rainbow cut through the darkness. Over there, the shadows of dragons were circling. A human figure was rushing left and right, trying to rush out. However, he was stopped by the eruption of endless Dragon Chi. The Chaos Dragon Cave's extreme Tao pattern had been activated. Target equals _blank. Countless ancient demonic runes condensed and a terrifying dragon shadow appeared in the depths of the primal Chaos Dragon Cave. This is... Gu Fei felt a heart-palpitating aura, as if he was being stared at by a peerless ferocious beast, and his scalp went numb. Die! The voice of the Heavenly Peng ancient demon sounded once again. The terrifying dragon shadow in the depths of the Chaos Dragon lair immediately soared into the sky and lunged towards Gu Fei. Could it be that there is still a true dragon hiding in the Chaos Dragon Cave? Gu Fei was startled. A vast and boundless dragon chi surged up from below. The entire Chaos Dragon Cave was shaking, and one after another ancient demon marks were emitting a dazzling demon light. If it wasn't for these ancient demon marks, the Chaos Dragon Cave would have collapsed long ago. A trace of sage aura was emitted from the dragon's shadow. Although it wasn't an extreme sage aura, it was enough to cause Gu Fei's expression to change. Saint-class power, boom! Just as the dragon shadow was about to collide with Gu Fei, a hazy figure suddenly rushed out from his body and punched out. Bam! With just a single punch, the dragon shadow was dispersed by the figure that suddenly rushed out from Gu Fei's body. A surge of sage aura spread throughout the Chaos Dragon Cave. What? Two cold lights lit up in the depths of the pitch-black Chaos Dragon Cave. That was the gaze of a great demon. The heavenly Ping Ancient Demon looked at this scene in disbelief. He was dumbfounded. The figure that rushed out from Gu Fei's body condensed in the void. The dragon shadow completely dissipated in the void, and the ancient demon marks were collapsing. That mysterious person's punch had displayed the power of a sage. Only the power of a sage could contend against the power of a sage. What made the heavenly Ping Ancient Demon dumbfounded was that the hazy figure revealed its true appearance. The mysterious person that resolved the crisis with a single punch was actually the same as the human expert. How can there be two? The heavenly Ping Ancient Demon could no longer maintain his composure. He knew that the desolate demon race was about to face a serious calamity. A sage had actually barged into the Chaos Dragon Cave. Sage was an extremely ancient name. It was so ancient that the heavenly Ping Ancient Demon had almost forgotten about it. It was impossible for a sage to appear in this world. This violated the laws of heaven and earth after the great desolate world. Hand over the dragon scale and everything will be over. Otherwise, the Gu Fei that dispersed the dragon shadow spoke. The other Gu Fei, who had been fighting with the heavenly Ping Ancient Demon for a while, turned into a wisp of green chi and entered the saint-class Gu Fei's body. 3 pure ones. The heavenly Ping Ancient Demon was shocked to see this scene from the depths of the Chaos Dragon Cave. It seemed like the other party had already mastered the 9 secrets of the Immortal Tao, a secret technique that was known to be invincible in ancient times. As it turned out, Gu Fei did not barge into the Chaos Dragon Cave with his true body. The Chaos Dragon Cave was a place where a true dragon of the extreme Tao had appeared. This place had the aura of a true dragon and was the sacred ground of the desolate demon race. Since ancient times, it was unknown how many great demons had cultivated in this place, leaving behind countless demon marks that were imprinted on every corner of the Chaos Dragon Cave. Just now, the heavenly Ping Ancient Demon had only activated a killing array left behind by an ancient demon. The power of a true dragon was not so easily activated and used. To use the power of an extreme Tao, it required a process. Just like how Gu Fei had to make all sorts of preparations to use the mountain and river cauldron before he could successfully activate a wisp of the extreme Tao sage aura of the mountain and river cauldron. The power of an extreme Tao was still brewing in the depths of the Chaos Dragon Cave. However, Gu Fei was not foolish enough to let this power gather without making a move. You want the treasure of my race? Not unless you walk over my dead body. The heavenly Ping Ancient Demon was very determined. It was impossible for him to obediently hand over the dragon scale left behind by a true dragon of the extreme Tao. The dragon scale contained a major secret of the demon race. The dragon scale could not fall into the hands of experts of other races. Since that's the case, I'll go get it myself. Without hesitation, Gu Fei used an immortal Tao divine art. His entire body turned into a phantom as he pounced downwards. This was his Saint-Tyr puppet clone. It was a battle tool refined by a great sage of the human race. It could display the power of a Saint-Tyr expert. If Gu Fei's Yuan spirit was strong enough, he could make this Saint-Tyr clone display its peak power. Such power was enough to compete with a true sage. This puppet clone was an immortal Tao sacred body refined by a great sage of the human race. It could display all sorts of supreme immortal Tao arts. Gu Fei's pounce was extremely fast. Kill! Gu Fei conjured a huge hand towards the heavenly Ping Ancient Demon's seal in the depths of the Chaos Dragon Cave. Saint-Tyr immortal Tao power shook the entire Chaos Dragon Cave. Within the Chaos Dragon Cave, the countless demonic marks left behind by the predecessors of the demon race lit up. The condensed great Tao demonic power sealed this part of the void. It was these great Tao demonic power that prevented Gu Fei from erasing the Chaos Dragon Cave from the wildlands with a single palm strike. Meanwhile, Gu Fei's true body was a full 3,000 kilometers away from the Chaos Dragon Cave. An ancient cauldron was floating there. Earth veins that looked like true dragons were gathering towards the cauldron of mountains and rivers from all directions. Suppressed by the ancient cauldron, the earth around the Chaos Dragon Cave began to change. Rumble. At this moment, a saint-tier power rippled out from the Chaos Dragon Cave. Deep underground, Gu Fei, who was sitting cross-legged on the cauldron of mountains and rivers, suddenly opened his eyes. It's time! Gu Fei's true body began to draw upon the power of the cauldron of mountains and rivers. The cauldron began to devour the earth vein essence energy that was gathering from all directions. 1. The cauldron of mountains and rivers shuddered. The mouth of the cauldron quickly transformed into a black hole that devoured the earth vein essence energy that was gathering from all directions. A powerful aura that could shake the heavens gradually emanated from the cauldron of mountains and rivers. Gu Fei was using the endless earth vein essence energy to stimulate the extreme power of the cauldron of mountains and rivers. Just as Gu Fei was about to stimulate the extreme power of the cauldron of mountains and rivers, Gu Fei's saint-tier avatar had already charged into the depths of the Chaos Dragon Cave. Boom! The huge hand formed by the immortal Tao slammed down. Countless demonic runes crumbled under the pressure of the huge hand. The entire void was shaking and a huge upheaval occurred. Countless demonic runes were activated. Saint-tier auras erupted from the depths of the Chaos Dragon Cave. It was as though many ancient sages of the demon race were awakening. More than a dozen powerful saint-tier auras rushed out from the depths of the Chaos Dragon Cave. These were the great Tao imprints left behind by the sages of the demon race. Now, they were all awakened by the power of Gu Fei's saint-tier avatar. Humph! A cold laugh came from the depths of the chaos. Heavenly Ping stood in the middle of a huge array. Dragon shadows circled around him. Dragon Chi was vast and mighty. The huge hand formed by Gu Fei's saint-tier avatar obliterated a large number of demon race Tao runes. It pressed down on Heavenly Ping. The power of the immortal Tao destroyed everything. However, just as the huge hand formed by the Supreme Tao technique was about to slam down on Heavenly Ping's head, 9 dragon shadows rushed out from his body. Boom! The ancient array beneath Heavenly Ping's feet emitted a demonic light that illuminated the dark sky. The power of the ancient array instantly erupted. 9 dragon shadows rushed into the sky like real dragons. They actually blocked the huge hand that was slamming down from the sky. Rumble! The ancient array revolved. Countless ancient runes were emitting resplendent demonic light. The power of the great Tao was condensing into dragon shadows that soared into the sky to resist against Gu Fei's saint-tier avatar. This was an ancient killing array of the demon race. It emitted a terrifying and peerless killing intent. The killing intent emitted by the array caused Gu Fei's saint-tier avatar to turn serious. Target equals _blank. Chapter 1452. Chapter 1460 Battle against Tianping Ancient Demon. Rumble. The demon race killing array under Tianping Ancient Demon's feet was in operation. There seemed to be a starry sky emerging and stars were descending, emitting a peerless killing intent. Dragon shadows hovered in the starry sky formed by the demon clan's killing array. Dragon chi spread in all directions. Every dragon shadow was like a real dragon. Gu Fei's sacred level clone struck out with a palm strike, but it was blocked by the 9 dragon shadows. The power of the immortal Tao and the Yao Qi clashed, creating visible ripples in the void. The Chaos Dragon Cave's internal space was incomparably stable due to the existence of the extreme Tao demon marks. Even saint-tier energy could not penetrate the internal space of the Chaos Dragon Cave. Boom! In the end, with a loud bang, the giant palm formed by Gu Fei collapsed and the 9 dragon shadows also dissipated in the void. Boundless destructive energy swept out in all directions. However, this energy was quickly neutralized and did not have any effect on the Chaos Dragon Cave. If this was the outside world, 2 saint-tier energy clashing with each other would cause an explosion that was enough to destroy an entire region. Even the heavens and earth would be pierced through. However, the extreme Tao demon marks appeared in the Chaos Dragon Cave, completely neutralizing the destructive energy waves from the collision of the two Saint-Ter energies. Gu Fei was sent flying and his Saint-Ter incarnation was impacted. Tianping Ancient Demon, who was standing in the starry sky, trembled continuously. Although he was in the formation, he was still shaken by Gu Fei's power. "Great!" Tianping Ancient Demon roared. The strength of his opponent had exceeded his expectations. Moreover, it did not seem like his real body had descended. It was an incarnation of a Saint-Ter incarnation. This ancient demon had lived for countless years and his knowledge was extraordinary. The strength of Gu Fei's incarnation had stimulated the heavenly rock ancient fiend's fighting spirit. This was the strongest opponent he had encountered in countless years. If it wasn't for the protection of the ancient array, he would have been annihilated by that attack. The true power of a Saint-Ter wasn't something a half-Saint-Ter could contend against. Even a quasi-sage wouldn't be able to withstand the palm strike of Gu Fei's incarnation. Buzz! The void trembled. Heavenly Ping Ancient Fei exuded a monstrous demonic aura. His aura blended with the array beneath his feet. The entire demon race array seemed to be bestowed with life, as though a powerful life form had awakened. Boom! The void trembled and a starry sky seemed to appear around the Heavenly Ping Ancient Fei. Stars shone brilliantly and looked extremely real. Kill! Gu Fei let out a loud roar and swooped down from the sky. 9 rays of immortal light rushed out from his body and coiled around him. The aura of the immortal Tao filled the sky and earth. The powerful pressure was like 100,000 ancient divine mountains descending from the sky, causing the entire demon race grand array to tremble and shake the starry sky that the grand array had evolved. It's just an incarnation. How can it be so powerful? In the grand array, Heavenly Ping Ancient Fei was shocked. The enemy in front of him was much more powerful and terrifying than he had imagined. If it wasn't for the various preparations left behind by the previous generations of demon race in the Chaos Dragon Cave, the wildland demon race would have been slaughtered by this person. This incarnation was too powerful. Even if the wildland demon lord returned, he would definitely not be a match for it. 10,000 years in a single glance. Gu Fei used a kind of immortal Tao technique. His divine eyes emitted an unfathomable wave. Then, the time in the void seemed to be pushed by an invisible hand. The speed of the flow of time instantly increased by many times. Under the gaze of Gu Fei's divine eyes, the essence of the grand array was dissipating rapidly, as though 10,000 years had passed. This is... Heavenly Ping Ancient Fei was shocked. He could feel the essence of the great Tao condensed by the demon race grand array was dissipating rapidly. This wasn't a good thing. Law of time? It was too unbelievable. The supreme technique that Gu Fei used contained the law of time. It could actually accelerate the flow of time. Such a great technique could only be used by a Saint-Ter expert because it was too heaven-defying. It was simply a forbidden technique that ignored the normal laws of heaven and earth. It was enough to throw the world into chaos. If the law of time was controlled, it would be an extremely terrifying thing. Since it could make time flow, it could also be reversed and returned to the past. However, the price of disrupting the law of heaven and earth was huge. Moreover, even if one could return to the past, it would be difficult to change what had already happened. However, the future could be changed because the events of the future had yet to happen. The supreme technique that Gu Fei used was to bring forward the events of the future. In an instant, more than half of the essence of the ancient array was dissipated. After 10,000 years, the ancient array would be damaged, causing the essence to dissipate. The power of the ancient array would naturally be greatly reduced, and it would be difficult for it to display its full power. Heavenly Ping Ancient Fei was shocked and furious. He tried his best to activate the Grand Array. The dim runes of the Grand Array lit up again, emitting a dazzling demonic light and condensing the power of the Great Tao. With this, he managed to resist the power of time that was emitted from Gu Fei's eyes. At this moment, Gu Fei tore apart the void and charged into the starry sky that the Grand Array had evolved. He made his move forcefully. 9 rays of immortal light rushed out from his body and pierced towards Heavenly Ping Ancient Fei in the starry sky. How dare you barge in! The Heavenly Ping Ancient monster's spirit was immediately shaken. Then, he activated the formation. Stars condensed around him and smashed towards the 9 divine lights of the immortal path that pierced through. Rumble! Great stars streaked across the sky, giving off terrifying ripples. They were like real stars, and they gave off an overwhelming pressure. Boom! 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 The 9 rays of immortal light contained the power of the great Tao. They pierced through more than 10 huge stars and caused the entire starry sky to shake violently. Like 9 inextinguishable rays of immortal light, they charged towards Heavenly Ping Ancient Fei. Every ray of immortal light emitted terrifying waves, and great Tao runes could be vaguely seen. Swoosh! Dragon-shaped ancient runes appeared on Heavenly Ping Ancient Fei's body. Then, the dragon-shaped runes turned into dragon shadows, like the birth of a true dragon. They charged towards the 9 rays of immortal light that pierced through. The 9 dragon shadows drew the power of the true dragon. Dragon roars seemed to resound in the sky, and the power that was emitted shook the heavens and earth, shocking the surroundings. The 9 rays of immortal light and the 9 dragon shadows collided in an instant. Then, the 9 rays of immortal light and the 9 dragon shadows were annihilated in an instant. After a moment of stillness, the entire starry sky began to collapse. The destructive power silently spread in all directions. The phenomenon that the ancient demon formation had evolved was dissipating. Target equals _blank. Chapter 1453. Indestructible Martial Saint. Chapter 1461. Sovereign Aura. The killing formation left behind by the ancient sage of the demon race was extraordinary. The 9 rays of immortal light collided with the 9 dragon shadows. Although the destructive force caused the starry sky that was created by the formation to collapse, the formation wasn't damaged at all. Wang! The void trembled, and cracks appeared in the space. The runes of the entire formation dimmed. Although the runes were not destroyed, they were still impacted. Gu Fei and Heavenly Ping were both sent flying. Heavenly Ping was in a more miserable state than Gu Fei. A trace of blood seeped out from the corner of his mouth, but the demonic aura on his body was stronger than before. A vast demonic aura surged out from the feet of Heavenly Ping. The runes of the demon race's ancient runes immediately emitted a bright demonic light. Swoosh! 9 dragon shadows rushed out of the ancient array and danced around the Heavenly Ping Ancient Fei, emitting waves of dragon might that made one's heart palpitate. An ancient sage formation? Gu Fei couldn't help frowning his brows at this scene. It seemed that he wouldn't be able to break this ancient formation if he didn't take it seriously. This ancient formation could transform into a starry sky and draw the dragon aura from the Chaos Dragon Cave for his own use, which posed a certain threat to him. Especially the dragon chi of the true dragon in the Chaos Dragon Cave. Gu Fei didn't dare to be careless. One! With a thought, a golden light rushed out from Gu Fei's body. A Saint Tyr aura immediately spread out. Within the golden light, there was a golden sacred saber. Sacred weapon? In the formation, Heavenly Ping stared at the golden sacred saber floating in front of Gu Fei. His scarlet eyes immediately narrowed. Gu Fei was going to use his sacred weapon. 1 more hour! Heavenly Ping's forehead was sweating. Gu Fei was going to use his trump card. However, he wasn't prepared enough. He didn't have the confidence to deal a fatal blow to his enemy. Moreover, it was unknown where the other party's true body was hiding. Even if he destroyed the Sainter incarnation, he would only lose a strand of his primordial spirit. At this time, Gu Fei also sensed a supreme power gathering in the depths of the Chaos Dragon Lair. It was as though a supreme existence of the extreme Tao was awakening. He knew that his opponent was gathering the power of the extreme Tao. He wanted to kill his opponent when this power reached its peak. Otherwise, he would be in danger. Clang! Gu Fei grabbed the golden Saint Saber in his hand and slashed out. The golden Saint Saber automatically devoured his celestial Tao energy. The resplendent saber light instantly surged and landed on the demon race's ancient formation. Within the golden saber light, countless golden Tao patterns were faintly discernible. This strike had activated the great Tao imprint within the golden holy saber, allowing the golden holy saber to display at least 60 to 70% of its power. This slash was definitely comparable to an attack from a sage. The ancient Fae, Heavenly Pun, who was in the ancient formation, only felt a chill rushing towards him. The saber light had yet to land, but the saber aura had already swept in all directions, causing the ancient formation to tremble. The ancient Fae used 9 streams of dragon chi to protect himself. As his hands moved, the power of the ancient formation rapidly gathered between his hands. A dragon-shaped divine sword appeared in his hands. Swish! The ancient Fae did not think much as he slashed upwards with his sword. Chaotic sword light soared into the sky, shattering the heaven and earth as it clashed with the golden saber light. Neither of them retreated as they faced each other head-on. Clang! A metallic clang resounded through the 9 heavens. Even the great demons outside the Chaos Dragon lair were shaken to the point that their ears oozed blood. All the experts of the demon race were shocked as they retreated into the distance. This was already a saint-tier battle. No one could intervene. Even if the powerful demon lord of the savage wilderness returned, he would be helpless. In the Chaos Dragon lair, sword aura crisscrossed and saber aura shot out. Countless Tao patterns were collapsing. Wherever the saber light and sword aura swept past, the demon race's Tao patterns would appear. However, under the power of a saint-tier battle, the Tao patterns left behind by the predecessors of the demon race were also collapsing. You deserve to die! The ancient Fae was enraged. One had to know that the Tao patterns left behind by the predecessors of the demon race were incomparably precious. It was a great Tao imprint of the predecessors of the demon race. Destroying it like this was equivalent to destroying a legacy of the demon race. Such a loss could not be made up for. Humph! Gu Fei sneered. The Chaos Divine Sword that the other party had condensed was only in form. It was impossible for it to contend with the true Golden Holy Saber. The great Tao imprint within the Golden Holy Saber was awakening. The saber light gradually suppressed the sword light. Within the ancient formation, the ancient Fae felt an immense pressure. Roar! The ancient Fae roared again and again. He constantly guided the power of the ancient formation to the Chaos Divine Sword above his head. However, the Divine Sword above his head was still descending bit by bit. As long as the golden saber light completely suppressed the Chaos Divine Sword and the saber light descended, the ancient Fae would be killed by Gu Fei on the spot. Let's see how long you can resist for! Gu Fei powered the golden holy saber with all his might. Golden Tao patterns appeared on the golden holy saber. The Tao patterns intertwined and a powerful force that made one's heart tremble was awakening. Fight! The ancient Fae roared angrily. On the ground beside him, Dragon Aura rose. The extreme Dragon Aura was guided over by him. The 9 dragon shadows were about to rush out of the void and turn into real dragons with flesh and blood. He summoned the 9 dragons and sent them into the Chaos Divine Sword. 1. After the 9 extreme dragon auras were injected into the Chaos Divine Sword, the Chaos Divine Sword immediately vibrated as though it was about to evolve into a real sword body in the void. This was a divine sword in the shape of a dragon. It emitted an extreme aura which made Gu Fei feel great danger. His intuition told him that this divine sword was not simple. It might be the extreme Tao Dragon Sword refined by the Chaos True Dragon. Although the Chaos Divine Sword was just a sword shadow, it was an extreme sacred weapon after all. Just a sword shadow was enough to go against a real sacred weapon. A dragon's roar came from the divine sword. This dragon-shaped sword shadow seemed to have a life of its own. The sword aura it emitted was unimaginably powerful. What? Gu Fei only felt a strong force coming from the divine sword. He could barely hold the golden holy saber in his hand as his arm went numb from the shock. This is not good! Gu Fei knew that the longer this dragged on, the more disadvantageous it would be for him. This was the place where the extreme Tao True Dragon appeared. The other party had not used their trump card yet. It's time! He knew that if he did not use his trump card now, he would not have another chance. The depths of the primal Chaos Dragon Cave started emitting waves of extreme dragon might. This made Gu Fei feel a great threat. At this moment, in the depths of the earth 3,000 miles away, Gu Fei's real body, who was sitting cross-legged on top of the cauldron of mountain and river, began to move. An extremely terrifying aura suddenly exploded, shaking the heavens and earth. When all living beings sensed this aura, they all prostrated themselves. It was as if an extreme Tao Emperor had descended upon the world, shocking all living beings in the wildlands. Target equals _blank. Chapter 1454. Indestructible Martial Lord. Chapter 1462. Savage Ghost Domain. Rumble. The Emperor's aura of the extreme Tao erupted as the ancient cauldron became the only thing in the world. Primordial chaos chi surged like dragons circling around the ancient cauldron. A terrifying force that could shake the entire universe spread out from the ancient cauldron, causing all living beings in the wildlands to tremble. Experts from all directions were alarmed. Especially the great demons near the Chaos Dragon Cauldron. All of them knelt down towards the direction of the mountain and river cauldron, as though they were worshipping a supreme sovereign. This is... Inside the Chaos Dragon Cauldron, Heavenly Ping could feel his soul trembling. The true Emperor's aura of the extreme Tao was surging in from outside the Chaos Dragon Cauldron. Even the demonic runes of the extreme Tao could not stop it. However, at this moment, a terrifying aura came from the depths of the Chaos Dragon Cauldron, causing all living beings to tremble. A huge dragon shadow rushed out from the depths of the Chaos Dragon Cauldron. Boom! The Emperor's aura of the extreme Tao within the Chaos Dragon Cauldron erupted. Under the impact of the Emperor's aura of the mountain and river cauldron, the great Tao marks left behind by the Emperor's aura reacted. A chaotic dragon shadow appeared in the sky above the Chaos Dragon Cauldron, emitting an Emperor's aura of the extreme Tao. The entire savage world trembled as the two forces of the extreme Tao clashed. What's going on? Could it be that an Emperor of the extreme Tao has descended into this world? This is too terrifying. The entire world might be destroyed. All the experts in the savage world felt a shiver that came from the depths of their souls. If these two forces of the extreme Tao were to clash, the savage world would definitely be destroyed. The power of the extreme Tao could destroy the heavens and earth. This was not a legend. The power of the extreme Tao could suppress everything, surpassing the great Tao of the heavens and earth. Humph! Gu Fei sat cross-legged in the sky above the mountain and river cauldron, drawing the essence of the earth veins in all directions. The cauldron's soul within the cauldron began to awaken. The Emperor's aura became even more vast and terrifying. Hand over the dragon scale, or I will erase the Chaos Dragon Cauldron from the face of this world. Gu Fei's voice pierced through the void, directly into the Chaos Dragon Cauldron. At this time, his sainter incarnation and Heavenly Ping had already stopped fighting. You actually have such a thing? The ancient Heavenly Rock couldn't help but be shocked. He never expected the other party to have a supreme sacred weapon refined by an extreme Tao sovereign. Unfortunately, there was no supreme dragon sword of an extreme Tao true dragon in the primal Chaos Dragon Cave that once gave birth to an extreme Tao true dragon. Hand over the dragon scale, or else the people will be plunged into misery and suffering. In the Chaos Dragon Cave, Gu Fei's sainter incarnation said this. Although the depths of the Chaos Dragon Cave also emitted an extreme power, compared to the mountain and river cauldron, this extreme power was like a child in front of an adult. The mountain and river cauldron released a terrifying power that could shake the entire universe, suppressing the 10,000-kilometer area around the chaotic dragon cauldron. Even the entire wild world was enveloped by the extreme Tao Emperor's might. At this moment, as long as Gu Fei was willing, he could use the mountain and river cauldron to break through this part of the world. What is this? Could it be that the legendary treasure has appeared? Right next to the area controlled by the demon race was a barren land that stretched as far as the eye could see. That place was shrouded in yin qi, and the entire area emitted an aura of death. In the depths of this land of death, there was a gloomy ancient city. At this moment, a ghostly voice rang out from the ancient city. The center of the wild world was 100,000-kilometer area. It was occupied by three major forces: the demon race, the beast race, and the ghost race. Beast sovereign, demon sovereign, and ghost sovereign, the three invincible existences of the wildlands jointly controlled this area of 100,000 miles. All three of them wanted to break the extreme Tao Grand Formation outside the 9 nether yellow springs and obtain the gate of reincarnation inside. At this moment, the entire wild world was enveloped by the extreme Tao Emperor's might. The powerful existences in the ghost race didn't dare to act rashly. No one could withstand an attack from an extreme Tao Saint weapon, not even a saint. After successfully drawing upon the power of the extreme Tao, no one in the wild world could contend against Gu Fei. You dare! Heavenly Ping still wanted to resist stubbornly, but he was no longer confident. Who wouldn't tremble in the face of a true extreme Tao Saint weapon? In that case, I have nothing else to say. Gu Fei finished speaking and was about to make his move. The mountain and river cauldron vibrated and gathered the essence of the earth from all directions. The spiritual chi of the entire world frantically converged towards the mountain and river cauldron. In just a short while, the spiritual chi of the entire wild world had almost decreased by 1/10. The spiritual chi of the extreme Tao Saint weapon was absolutely astonishing. Even if a saint used an extreme Tao Saint weapon, his vitality would probably be greatly damaged. An extreme Tao divine might emanated from the mountain and river cauldron, suppressing the direction of the chaotic dragon cave. The entire ground sank. Although it was only a strand of extreme Tao Emperor's might, it still caused a great disturbance. Comprehending such great Tao dragon patterns would be immeasurable for one's cultivation, especially for an existence like the heavenly Ping ancient demon, who had already stepped onto the path of becoming a sage. Many thanks! Gu Fei cupped his hands towards the heavenly Ping ancient demon. Then, he turned into a beam of divine light and rushed out from the depths of the chaotic dragon cave. He didn't kill them all. Roar! After Gu Fei left, an indignant roar could be heard from the depths of the Chaos Dragon Cave. It was a great humiliation for the entire demon race of the desolate mountains to have someone kill their way to their doorstep and steal their supreme treasure. After Gu Fei obtained the dragon's scale, his sage incarnation met up with his true body. Together, they drove the mountain and river cauldron into the depths of the earth. The extreme Tao Emperor's aura began to recede. Countless living beings in the desolate world heaved a sigh of relief. The extreme Tao Emperor's aura was too terrifying. It almost crushed the heavens and earth and shattered the world. It was as though doomsday had arrived. The aura of the extreme Tao was withdrawn. The mountain and river cauldron and the chaotic dragon cave gradually calmed down. No one dared to release their spiritual will to find the location of the mountain and river cauldron. Under the influence of the aura, the mountain and river cauldron could kill a sage with a single strike. In the depths of the earth, an ancient cauldron was floating. Inside the ancient cauldron was a boundless world. A piece of dragon scale was suppressed by the power of the mountain and river cauldron. Even so, the wisp of extreme Tao aura emanating from the dragon scale was difficult to completely isolate. The Tao pattern formed by the primordial chaos chi was firmly suppressed on the dragon scale. At this moment, Gu Fei had already put away his sage incarnation. He stood in front of the dragon scale and carefully examined the ancient patterns on it. A corner of the array pattern. Gu Fei discovered that 1/3 of the extreme Tao ancient array pattern on the dragon scale was the same kind of array pattern as the one on the black stone that he had obtained from the beast race. When the ancient array pattern on the dragon scale and the ancient array pattern on the black stone were combined, 2/3 of the extreme Tao ancient array could be formed. However, a corner of the array pattern was missing. Moreover, Gu Fei discovered that the missing corner of the extreme Tao ancient array pattern happened to be the most crucial array pattern of the extreme Tao ancient array. Without the core array pattern, everything would be full of variables. The extreme Tao ancient array was created by heaven and earth. No one could deduce the other missing array patterns from just a corner of the array pattern. Only by gathering that part of the array pattern would Gu Fei have the confidence to challenge the extreme Tao ancient array. Looks like I'll have to make a trip to the ghost region of the wild. Gu Fei couldn't help but frown. The ghost region of the wild was a land of death in the wild world. It was the gathering place of the dead spirits, and was shrouded in a deathly aura. The ghost region of the wild world could be said to be the most mysterious place in the wild world. It was a place that even the beast race and demon race were unwilling to set foot in. There were incomparably powerful ghost emperors and evil corpses that could stand shoulder to shoulder with almighties. The expert who ruled this area was the ghost lord of the wild world, who could contend with the beast lord and demon lord of the wild world. Target equals _blank. It was obvious that this ancient city had existed for countless years, giving off an ancient and boundless aura. The cultivator directly led Gu Fei into the ancient city. To Gu Fei's surprise, there were no undead creatures in the city. The ancient city was empty, but there was a tall building in the center of the city. This was the city lord's mansion. Gu Fei could feel a powerful aura of death overflowing from the mansion. Quasi-saint. Gu Fei's heart couldn't help but tremble after sensing this aura. There was actually a quasi-saint in the city lord's mansion. Although it wasn't the legendary ghost lord, it was still shocking enough. Hee! Honored guest, your presence brings light to my humble dwelling. A loud laugh came from the city lord's mansion. A tall figure came out from the mansion to welcome them. It was a man wearing a black dragon robe and a black crown. This man's gait was majestic like a dragon or a tiger, exuding the aura of an emperor, giving off a powerful oppressive feeling. It was as if he was the legendary king of hell. Naturally, the savage ghost lord was the only ghost Tao powerhouse with such a bearing. Ghost Emperor? After seeing the Wildlands ghost lord, Gu Fei couldn't help but recall the invincible ghost emperor in the mortal world. That was a peerless expert that looked down on the 9 heavens and 10 earths. The cultivator who led Gu Fei here bowed to the ghost lord and left. Under the guidance of the Wildlands ghost lord, Gu Fei entered the city lord's mansion in the ghost city below. The entire ghost city was filled with a strange atmosphere. It seemed like there were only 2 people in the ghost city, Gu Fei and the ghost lord. To see the first episode without advertisements, please go to please share target equals _blank. Chapter 1456. The Ghost Lord of Desolation was a quasi-sage expert of the Ghost Tao. His temperament was somewhat similar to the Ghost Emperor of the mortal world, causing Gu Fei to recall the Ghost Emperor. Ghost Emperor Fengdu was an unparalleled powerhouse. Even now, Gu Fei still had a hard time figuring out just how high his cultivation and strength had reached. Was the Ghost Emperor a quasi-sage? Or had it surpassed the quasi-sage realm? No one knew, but Gu Fei knew that the Ghost Emperor of the mortal world was definitely stronger than this Ghost Lord. I didn't expect Tao friend to obtain such a clone. This is truly a fortune. The Ghost Lord's eyes were like torches. The moment he saw Gu Fei, he knew that this expert emitting a sage aura was not a real sage, but a clone. Even so, Gu Fei's immortal saint physique still caused the Ghost Lord to feel a great pressure. After all, this was a sage-level clone. You flatter me. Gu Fei was expressionless. The current him was not afraid of the Ghost Lord. Moreover, since he dared to enter this city of death, he was already prepared for the worst. I have already guessed Tao friend's purpose for coming here. I should have taken the corner of the diagram, but unfortunately, even I can't take it, the Ghost Lord said. Oh? Gu Fei couldn't help but be startled when he heard this. What did the savage Ghost Lord mean? Could it be that he didn't have that corner of the diagram? How was that possible? He had already found out that the Ghost Lord did have that corner of the diagram. Could it be that the Ghost Lord didn't want to hand it over? If that was the case, then he had no choice but to take action. Hee! Tao friend, please don't misunderstand, the Ghost Lord quickly said. He didn't want to offend this god of death. He already knew what happened between the beast race and the demon race. Gu Fei slaughtered in all directions, forcing the beast race and demon race to lower their heads. Such a battle record was absolutely world-shaking. The Ghost Lord knew that with his current cultivation and strength, he wouldn't be able to achieve such a feat if he could suppress the Demon Lord and the Beast Lord. He, the Wildland Ghost Lord, would have long since unified the Wildland world. He wouldn't have to fight against the Demon race and the Beast race. What do you mean? Gu Fei was a little displeased. This Wildland's Ghost Lord was not straightforward with his words. This corner of the ancient formation pattern is a little different, the Wildland's Ghost Lord said. He seemed to not know what to say, and his words were somewhat hesitant. Different? Hearing this, Gu Fei could not help but be curious. Could it be that this corner of the ancient formation pattern was different from the ancient formation patterns mastered by the Beast clan and the Demon clan? If it wasn't the same kind of array pattern, it would be bad. Even if Gu Fei had grasped 2/3 of the Extreme Dao Ancient Formation runes, he still wouldn't dare to challenge the Extreme Dao Ancient Formation runes. I know that fellow Taoist wishes to gather the 3 ancient diagrams and then venture into the 9 Hell's Springs. However, the diagrams I have here are not imprinted on immortal materials, said the Wildland's Ghost Lord. Why do you say that? Gu Fei was even more curious. In this world, only immortal materials could be used as carriers of the great Tao. Other materials did not have this characteristic. When fellow Taoists entered the city, did you feel that there was something different about this ancient city? The Wildland's Ghost Lord said unhurriedly. Hearing this, Gu Fei's eyes gradually lit up. He seemed to have thought of something, and his expression changed slightly. He could no longer maintain his calm. That formation pattern is actually... A look of disbelief appeared on Gu Fei's face. How was this possible? How could a corner of the ancient formation pattern transform into such a state? It was too unbelievable. It seems that you have already guessed it. That's right, the ancient city we are in is that corner of the ancient formation pattern, said the Wildland's Ghost Lord. Although Gu Fei had already guessed it, he was still shocked after hearing the Wildland's Ghost Lord's words. A corner of the ancient formation pattern had actually transformed into an ancient city. When Gu Fei found out that he was actually sitting in a corner of the ancient formation pattern, his expression couldn't help but change. If the Wildland's Ghost Lord activated the ancient formation pattern, even a sage would be killed. Hee. Fellow Taoist doesn't need to be nervous. This corner of the ancient formation pattern has been silent for countless years. No one has been able to activate it, said the Wildland's Ghost Lord with a smile. Hearing the Wildland's Ghost Lord's words, Gu Fei secretly heaved a sigh of relief. With fellow Taoist strength, it is as easy as flipping your hand to take this corner of the ancient formation pattern. After this is done, I hope that fellow Taoist can borrow the legendary Gate of Reincarnation. The Wildland's Ghost Lord stated his purpose. He treated Gu Fei as a distinguished guest because of a promise from Gu Fei. He wanted to borrow the Gate of Reincarnation. Gu Fei naturally knew why the Wildland's Ghost Lord wanted to borrow the Gate of Reincarnation. No one would be willing to be trapped in a world like this for the rest of their lives. Although the Wildlands world was vast, it was not a truly perfect world. A character like the Wildlands Ghost Lord naturally desired to go to a vaster world to fulfill his ambitions. In the end, the Wildlands Ghost Lord left, leaving only Gu Fei sitting in the Ghost Town's City Lord mansion. No wonder there are no ghost race experts in such a huge ancient city, Gu Fei muttered to himself. It seemed like this ancient city was formed by a corner of the ancient formation pattern. Lord, are we just going to hand over the supreme treasure that our race is guarding just like this? On a mountain 1,000 miles away from the ghost town, there was a palace. At this time, the Wildland's Ghost Lord was conversing with a ghost general. Let this human expert fight with those 2 old fellows first. The Wildland's Ghost Lord's tone was incomparably calm. Lord is wise, this subordinate admires, the ghost general said. Humph. Those 2 old fellows think that they can enter that place just because they have the ancient formation pattern? In their dreams. The Wildland's Ghost Lord's eyes flashed with a faint light. Then, the Wildlands Ghost Lord took a deep look at the ghost town 1,000 miles away, then turned around and entered the palace behind him, never to come out again. So it turns out that Lord wants to be the fisherman. Let this human expert fight with those two old fellows until both sides are injured before making a move, the ghost general muttered to himself. Then, he also entered the palace on the mountain peak. Just as the Wildlands Ghost Lord and the Ghost General entered the palace at the peak of the mountain, a figure walked out from a dark corner of the mountain. These guys, none of them are good, all of them have turned into spirits. This person's eyes flickered, his expression was incomparably solemn. His entire body seemed to have fused with the surrounding void. Even the powerful Wildlands Ghost Lord couldn't sense his arrival. This mysterious person was the real body of Gu Fei. He followed his own saint-grade incarnation here, then took advantage of the time when the Wildlands Ghost Lord and his saint-grade incarnation were discussing in the ghost town to silently sneak into the Wildlands Ghost Lord's lair. As a result, he just happened to hear the conversation between the Wildlands Ghost Lord and the Ghost General. To see the first episode without advertisements, please go to target=_blank. Chapter 1457. The reason why the Wildland Ghost Lord handed over the corner of the ancient diagram so easily was because he wanted to be the Oreo behind. The mantis stalks the cicada, unaware of the Oreo behind. He wanted Gu Fei to fight until both sides suffered heavy losses before he acted. After Gu Fei's true body understood the Wildland Ghost Lord's intention, he couldn't help but feel murderous. This guy actually wanted to scheme against him. His true body had disappeared, he didn't enter the ghost town. He had no choice but to be careful. He didn't reveal his true body, only his incarnation. The entire ghost town was formed from a corner of the ancient diagram? Gu Fei's saint incarnation sat in the city lord's mansion. The more he thought about it, the more shocked he became. This matter was too unimaginable. He had never thought that this would be the result. The corner of the ancient diagram that the beast race and demon race mastered was imprinted on immortal divine materials. However, the most important corner of the ancient diagram had turned into an ancient city. How could he collect this corner of the ancient diagram? This was a difficult problem. Even the quasi-saint barbarian ghost lord couldn't collect this corner of the ancient diagram. Gu Fei had no clue. Using the mountain and river cauldron didn't seem to work. The mountain and river cauldron wasn't something that could be easily used. The commotion caused by using it was too great. Eventually, an ancient cauldron rushed out from Gu Fei's body and landed in his hand. This fist-sized ancient cauldron exuded an aura of endless vicissitudes. Primordial primal chaos chi surged within the cauldron. There seemed to be a world evolving within it. This tiny ancient cauldron seemed to be able to swallow the entire world. Gu Fei very carefully controlled the mountain and river cauldron. A black stone flew out from the mountain and river cauldron and landed on the ground with a pun. The entire ghost town shook from the impact. This black stone was the one Gu Fei obtained from the beast race's ancient palace. Although this stone wasn't huge, its weight was shocking. Back when Gu Fei collected the black stone, he had used his full strength and even used one of the 9 secrets of the immortal Tao, the Ascension secret art, to succeed. The power of the sacred incarnation was naturally much greater than that of Gu Fei's true body when he used one of the 9 secrets of the immortal Tao, the Heaven Ascension secret art. He could easily collect the stone. The black rock stood erect on the ground. Although it wasn't huge, it gave off the feeling of a mountain. No one would believe that such an inconspicuous black rock was an immortal godly material. Even now, Gu Fei couldn't figure out what kind of undying divine material this was. Undying divine materials carried divinity, and contained undying great Tao fragments. These were the characteristics of undying divine materials. This black stone was very ordinary. It did not emit any divinity, and the aura of the great Tao could not be sensed. However, there was a corner of an extreme Tao ancient formation engraved on it. At this time, Gu Fei discovered that the originally silent black stone was giving off wisps of strange energy. The corner of the ancient spirit diagram imprinted on it was actually showing signs of awakening. Seeing this scene, Gu Fei's heart couldn't help but tremble. Could it be that these three parts of the extreme Tao ancient formation could sense each other? Blurry formation runes faintly appeared on the black stone like tiny ancestral dragons. They swam on the surface of the black stone, appearing and disappearing from time to time. Rumble! The entire ghost town was also shaking. A strange aura emitted from the ghost town, resonating with the aura emitted by the black stone. At this time, Gu Fei no longer had any doubts. The corner of the ancient spirit diagram on the black stone was indeed resonating with the ghost town. When the two met, some kind of change immediately occurred. Gu Fei was both surprised and overjoyed. The mountain and river cauldron in his hand flew up and floated above his head. Streams of primordial chaos aura descended from the cauldron like a giant dragon, protecting him. He used the mountain and river cauldron to protect himself, then took out the dragon scale suppressed inside the mountain and river cauldron. Buzz! The moment the dragon scale flew out from the mountain and river cauldron, the entire ancient city shook. The void let out a rumbling sound, and ancient formation runes appeared on the surface of the ancient city. As expected, Gu Fei was overjoyed. The silent extreme Tao ancient formation, after the appearance of the black stone and the dragon scale, immediately woke up. Ancient formation runes were imprinted on every inch of the ancient city. The entire ghost town seemed to have a life of its own, as if it had come alive. This wasn't a corner of the extreme Tao ancient formation that had transformed into an ancient city, but the entire ancient city was imprinted with countless ancient formation runes. The ancient city and the ancient formation runes had fused together. Could it be? Gu Fei's heart shook. He thought of a possibility. This ghost town wasn't refined with immortal materials, but it could bear the extreme Tao ancient formation runes. An ancient city refined by an extreme ancient supreme being? Gu Fei was stunned by this conjecture. It seemed like only an extreme Tao sacred city refined by an extreme Tao sovereign would have such a miracle that could bear the extreme Tao ancient formation runes. At this time, the ancient city, the black stone, and the dragon scale were all trembling, releasing strands of extreme Tao aura that shook the myriad of worlds. What? The barbarian ghost lord was startled. Countless experts of the ghost race jumped out of nowhere. Strands of extreme Tao aura were emitted from the ancient city, causing all the ghost cultivators in the area to tremble. This was a fear that originated from the depths of their souls. The power of extreme Tao could suppress everything. Even the great Tao of the heavens and earth would be trampled under the feet of an extreme Tao sovereign. Rumble! The entire ghost town was trembling. Countless formation runes appeared. Rays of light flickered in the city like rainbows. The huge ghost town seemed like it was going to rise from the ground. The barbarian ghost lord was stunned by this scene. Even though he was a quasi-sage, the aura emitted from the extreme Tao ghost lord made him unable to straighten his back. Initially, he wanted to scheme against Gu Fei. But now, it seemed like he was the one scheming against who? Inside the ghost town's castellan mansion, the dragon scale and the black stone were emitting a resplendent divine light. A corner of a formation rune emerged from each of the two items. The extreme Tao ancient town rune was divided into 3 parts. At this time, the 3 parts of the extreme Tao ancient town rune gathered together and resonated with each other. The ancient town rune actually showed signs of reforming. Gu Fei sat cross-legged below the mountain and river cauldron, using it to protect himself. Although countless ancient formation runes appeared in the surroundings, interweaving with the power of extreme Tao, the mountain and river cauldron suppressed the void, causing the void around Gu Fei to form its own heaven and earth. Even the power of extreme Tao ancient town was blocked. He carefully observed the evolution of the extreme Tao ancient town rune. The corner rune on the dragon scale imprinted itself in the void, and the corner rune on the black stone was also imprinted. The 2 corner runes were fusing together. Then, the 3rd corner rune condensed. This was no longer a single corner rune. The 3rd corner rune was much more than the runes on the dragon scale and the black stone combined. This was the core rune of the extreme Tao ancient town rune. It was imprinted on the body of this ancient town and fused with it. No wonder the barbarian ghost lord said that this ghost town was formed from that corner rune. The third corner rune condensed in the void. The complete extreme Tao ancient town rune appeared in front of Gu Fei and was imprinted into his mind. The extreme Tao ancient town rune seized the fortune of the heaven and earth. Although Gu Fei could see the complete extreme Tao ancient town rune, he couldn't comprehend the essence of the extreme Tao ancient town rune. This complete extreme Tao ancient town rune could evolve into the perfect grand Tao of extreme supremes. If Gu Fei could comprehend it, he would become an extreme Tao sovereign. Rumble! The entire ancient town emitted monstrous waves of energy. After that, it actually rose from the ground and gradually rose into the sky, illuminating the entire savage ghost domain. The endless Yin fog was dispersed, and the stars in the sky appeared, sprinkling down rays of starlight. The Yin fog had enveloped the savage ghost domain for countless years. For a starry sky to appear in the savage ghost domain was a miraculous phenomenon. Is it the ghost race's turn to be unlucky now? In the air above the Chaos Dragon Cavern, a figure stood in the void, staring in the direction of the savage ghost domain. A demonic light flickered in his eyes. That person wants to unify the savage world? In the holy land of the savage demon race, from the ancient royal palace at the peak of the royal mountain, such a voice rang out. Such an expert has appeared in the human race. Is the human race going to prosper? The experts of the various races of the savage world were speculating. Gu Fei's achievements had long spread throughout the savage world. The human race of the savage world could finally hold their heads up high. The aura of the extreme Tao emitted from the savage ghost domain shocked the experts of the entire savage world. They had already guessed that the expert of the human race who swept away the beasts and demons was now making a move against the ghost race. However, no one dared to go and watch the battle. In a battle of this level, even a ray of divine light could kill a supreme existence. The ancient city that shone with divine light gradually rose high into the sky. The entire ancient city gave off an unimaginably powerful pressure, as if a supreme being had awakened in the city. Even the supreme existence of the ghost domain, the savage ghost lord, was kneeling on the ground. Before the power of the extreme Tao, even a sage was an ant, let alone a quasi-sage. The huge ancient city was like an immemorial divine mountain, pressing down on everyone's hearts. The huge city was shaking. Then, the huge city actually shrank. Formation runes swirled around the city as it transformed. This transformation caused all the ghost cultivators to be incomparably shocked. How could this be? This was especially true for the savage ghost lord. He had long wanted to take this ancient city, but he had tried countless methods to no avail. Now, he actually helped someone else. The savage ghost lord was filled with regret. He had never thought that Gu Fei would really be able to take this ancient city. This time, he had truly suffered a double loss. Half an hour later, Gu Fei's figure rushed out from the ancient city. At this time, the entire ancient city had shrunk to only a few hundred zhang in size. After Gu Fei rushed out from the city, the ancient city rapidly shrunk to the size of a fist. Then Gu Fei grabbed it in his hand. To see the first advertisement, please go to. Please share. Target equals _blank. Chapter 1458. Gu Fei took the immortal sacred city with the extreme Tao runes imprinted on it. The aura of the extreme Tao faded away, and everyone in the desolate world heaved a sigh of relief. Nothing terrible happened. In the end, Gu Fei left the desolate ghost domain. He found a beautiful mountain valley nearby and went to study the extreme Tao ancient diagram. One couldn't be careless when trying to challenge the extreme Tao ancient diagram. If one made a single mistake, they would be consigned to eternal damnation and die. The desolate ghost lord's heart was bleeding. The treasure of the ghost race had been taken away. It was too late for regrets. He didn't want to provoke Gu Fei. 9 Nether Yellow Springs. For several days, Gu Fei continued to study the extreme Tao ancient diagram. However, he discovered that no matter how hard he tried, he couldn't find the life gate within the extreme Tao ancient diagram. It was as if the person who laid down this extreme Tao ancient diagram didn't want anyone to challenge it. The fact that there was no life gate within the extreme Tao ancient diagram was most likely a form of deterrence. Who would dare to challenge the extreme Tao ancient diagram without a life gate? If he charged in, he would definitely die, because this was a death trap. Looks like I have to wait for He Tian to come out of seclusion. In the end, Gu Fei gave up. With his formation skills, it was impossible for him to deduce anything. After all, this was an extreme Tao ancient diagram. Perhaps only He Tian would be able to see through it. Thus, Gu Fei temporarily settled down in the mountain valley and waited for He Tian to come out. The desolate world once again calmed down. However, this was only on the surface. Undercurrents continued to surge in the desolate world. Gu Fei's domineering attack had broken the balance of power in the desolate world. The human race was showing signs of rising. Some powerful human cultivators began to search for Gu Fei. Some wanted to make Gu Fei the ruler of the desolate world and lead the human race to fight against the other major powers. However, the few great inheritances of the human race were still watching. The Yi clan and the Li clan didn't say anything. Many humans followed the Yi clan and the Li clan. Among the human race, the ones who wanted Gu Fei to lead the human race the most were the rogue cultivators. I didn't expect him to be this powerful. Yu Wuji drank a cup of strong alcohol in a pavilion in one of the villas of the Yi family. Afterwards, he smashed the cup heavily onto the table. There was some helplessness and unwillingness on his face. He had fought Gu Fei before, but never in his wildest dreams did he imagine that Gu Fei possessed the strength and cultivation base to dominate the 3 strongest tribes in the wildlands. I'm no match for him. Yu Wuji had to admit that he definitely did not have such cultivation and strength. There were rumors that even the savage Ghost Lord had been defeated by Gu Fei. The Wildlands Ghost Lord was a quasi-sage existence. In the Wildlands, such an existence was already an invincible paragon. If even such a person was defeated, how could he? Yu Wuji was very disappointed and drank by himself in the pavilion. Big brother, you are the future of our Yi clan. How can you be so dispirited? A pleasant voice came from the gravel path outside the pavilion. This voice was clear and melodious. It was very penetrating, causing Yu Wuji's heart to tremble. Yu Wuji didn't say anything. At this moment, a yellow-clothed woman walked over from the gravel path and directly entered the pavilion. She then sat down opposite Yu Wuji. This was a woman who possessed the spiritual energy of heaven and earth. She was elegant and otherworldly, as if she was a fairy from the 9 heavens. Could that person have 3 heads and 6 arms? To be able to sweep through the 3 great tribes of the wildlands, I, Yi Wu, would really like to meet such a person. When the yellow-clothed woman saw how depressed Yu Wuji was, her large eyes, which were filled with spirit energy, couldn't help but shine with a divine light. She was very curious as to what kind of person could make her big brother lose his will to fight like this. In the valley, Gu Fei suddenly sneezed. Could it be that someone is speaking ill of me behind my back? Gu Fei smiled bitterly and shook his head, throwing this thought away. Then he thought of another matter. He Tian still hadn't come out of seclusion. Although it wasn't easy to reconstruct his body, He Tian could use the divine spring of life and the drop of ancestral dragon undying liquid to regenerate his flesh. It had already been more than 10 days, but that guy still hadn't made a move. Gu Fei wasn't in a hurry. He Tian was definitely indispensable in breaking through the extreme ancient formation. With He Tian's Grandmaster level formation attainment, he would definitely be a great help when breaking through the extreme ancient formation. Thus, Gu Fei stayed in the valley, waiting for He Tian to come out of seclusion before making his plans. At this time, there were fights happening outside from time to time. The demon race, the beast race, and the ghost race had all been taught a lesson by Gu Fei. When the people of the 3 strongest races met the people of the human race, it was inevitable that there would be some friction. Of course, the 3 strongest races of the barbarian land didn't dare to go too far. If they provoked the god of slaughter of the human race, it would be disastrous. Swoosh! In a mountain somewhere in the barbarian land, a sword light flashed and disappeared. A miserable scream was heard from the mountain, and then a figure in yellow walked out of the mountain. This person was holding the head of a ferocious flood dragon in her hand. The flood dragon's blood was still flowing out of the wound. It was obvious that this woman in yellow had just killed this flood dragon. She could easily kill an almighty flood dragon. The cultivation and strength of this woman in yellow could be considered amazing. Humph! You dare to provoke me? Consider yourself unlucky! The yellow-clothed woman's hand shook, and the dragon's head she was holding immediately turned into a bloody mist. A golden bead flew out, and the yellow-clothed woman grabbed it. This was a flood dragon's bead. It contained the essence of a flood dragon. If it was refined and used, it might be possible to refine a powerful magic treasure. Swoosh! After putting away the flood dragon's bead, the woman in yellow turned into a sword light and soared into the sky. In the blink of an eye, she disappeared without a trace. The sword light was extremely fast. Fights broke out everywhere in the barbarian land. The experts of the human race that had been hiding for a long time kept jumping out. This seriously threatened the ruling position of the three great races of the barbarian land. In particular, the impact of Gu Fei sweeping through the three great races was absolutely unprecedented. Just as the storm was about to arrive in the barbarian land, Gu Fei seemed to have disappeared. He never appeared again. Several months passed, and no one saw this human expert again. At this time, Gu Fei was in a valley, quietly waiting for He Tian to come out of seclusion. At the same time, he was still studying the map of the ancient extreme town. He discovered that the three great immortal treasures each had their own unique characteristics. The ancient immortal city could expand or shrink. It could suck people into the city and suppress them. The dragon scale obtained from the primal chaos dragon cave not only had an ancient formation imprinted on it, but it also had a trace of a true dragon's remnant will. This was a different kind of inheritance, but Gu Fei did not need it. However, he could give this dragon scale to Shaoqing because Shaoqing walked the path of a true dragon. As for the black stone, although it looked ordinary, if it was used to smash someone, it could even injure a sage. Even a quasi-sage would be in mortal danger. Unknowingly, he had already stayed in this valley for 3 months. He Tian did not seem to have any intention of coming out of seclusion. This surprised Gu Fei. What's wrong with this guy? With that drop of ancestral dragon undying liquid, he wouldn't need to spend so much time reconstructing his physical body. Gu Fei did not want to wait any longer. He opened his inner world and entered it. The moment Gu Fei entered his inner world, he felt an incomparably powerful aura surging out from the depths of this world. This is... The boundless spiritual energy of the entire world was fluctuating, as if there was a supreme existence swallowing and spitting out the spiritual energy of the entire world. The spiritual energy of the entire world was being drawn. This He Tian. Gu Fei was shocked when he sensed this aura. When did this guy's cultivation become so strong? He was actually absorbing the energy of this world. He took a step forward and instantly arrived at the depths of this world. The spiritual energy there was so dense that it was almost liquefied. Rays of spiritual light and immortal clouds could be seen with the naked eye. It was a colorful ocean that was completely condensed from the spiritual energy of the world. At the center of the ocean sat a naked figure. Gu Fei used his martial path heavenly eye and looked into the ocean formed by spiritual energy. The figure was He Tian. At this moment, He Tian's eyes were closed, and his entire body was absorbing the spiritual energy of this world. Every part of He Tian's body was flickering with spiritual light. Not even a single strand of his hair seemed to have been transformed into a god. This guy... Gu Fei didn't expect that He Tian's body reconstruction would cause such a huge commotion. Was he trying to refine his body into a sacred weapon? The power of yin and yang intertwined on He Tian's body. A yin-yang diagram appeared on his body. Inside his body, formation runes appeared indistinctly. Every meridian and bone in He Tian's body seemed to contain some kind of power, as if they had turned into a corner formation rune. There was a hidden power in his body that even Gu Fei was moved. Gu Fei knew that He Tian only cultivated the power of yin and yang. Shifting yin and yang, reversing the universe, the current He Tian seemed to be seizing the fortune of heaven and earth. Could it be that the drop of immortal ancestral dragon herb had given him such a great opportunity? The immortal ancestral dragon herb was a true immortal divine herb. The reason why the immortal herb could not die was that it contained a fragment of the great path, which could make one achieve eternity. Gu Fei had once asked the immortal ancestral dragon herb for a drop of immortal liquid for He Tian. That drop of immortal liquid definitely contained a fragment of the great path. A fragment of the great path could allow one to comprehend the Tao. Was He Tian that lucky? Was he actually comprehending the Tao? Ancient formation runes kept appearing on He Tian's body. Gu Fei felt that it was no longer as simple as formation runes. It seemed to have evolved into a divine prostitute of the Great Path, with the aura of the Great Path. Gu Fei knew that if He Tian succeeded, his cultivation would probably take a leap. Even Gu Fei couldn't guess how far he could go. Target equals _blank. Chapter 1459. Inside Gu Fei's inner world, He Tian used the spiritual energy of the entire world to refine his reconstructed body. An aura of the great Tao spread out from his body. The drop of immortal medicinal liquid from the immortal ancestral dragon herb was taking effect. The great Tao fragments within the liquid were emitting traces of Tao rhythm. He Tian was comprehending the great Tao. In the depths of Gu Fei's inner world, rays of light shone brightly. The spiritual light enveloped the entire area, turning it into a sea of spiritual energy. In this world, there was no place with denser spiritual energy than this. It should be noted that there was more than one divine spring of life in this part of the world. The spiritual energy in this part of the world was vast and boundless, and it was the source of Gu Fei's strength. Although He Tian had consumed a large amount of spiritual energy to reconstruct his body, it was only a drop in the ocean. At this moment, He Tian was like a supreme god who created the world. His naked body was covered in yin and yang Tao patterns. He cultivated only one kind of power, and he walked the great Tao of yin and yang. Since ancient times, there had been many people who cultivated only one kind of power to become a sage. Some even became an extreme Tao supremacy. Gu Fei did not disturb He Tian. At this time, He Tian had encountered a great opportunity. If he comprehended the great Tao, it was hard to say how far his cultivation would go. He exited the inner world and continued to study the extreme Tao ancient array in the valley. At this time, the turmoil outside the valley seemed to be getting more and more intense. The experts of the three major races of the wildlands saw that Gu Fei had not appeared in the past few months, so they gradually became unscrupulous. The humans of the wildlands thought that the human race could rise again. However, when the three major races of the wildlands began to counterattack, very few people could withstand the butcher's knife of the three major races. Boom! A monstrous demonic aura suddenly descended on a human settlement. A barbaric bull the size of a mountain smashed down from the sky, and the village was instantly destroyed. The huge village was crushed by the bull in an instant, leaving nothing behind. The barbaric bull roared, causing the entire region to tremble. This was a barbaric bull emperor, and was incomparably powerful. However, this powerful demon emperor was actually attacking some weak humans. This went against common sense. Under normal circumstances, a powerful demon emperor would never even spare a glance at a human who was as weak as an ant. However, things had changed now. Shouts and cries could be heard from all directions. Some human beings were not killed on the spot, but those who survived immediately fled for their lives in all directions. However, all their struggles were futile in front of a demon emperor. Who? The demon emperor opened his mouth and sucked in all directions. The fleeing humans were immediately sucked back by a heaven-devouring force and swallowed into the demon emperor's stomach. Among those humans, there were even women with babies in their arms and elderly people. These were all defenseless, innocent villagers who had no power to resist at all. Roar! A furious roar resounded as a human expert rushed out from a mountain beside the village. Where did this bull demon come from? How dare you slaughter my clansmen? The newcomer's body flickered with immortal light as he strode through the void. Before he even arrived, he spat out an immortal sword that pierced towards the barbaric bull emperor. Humph! You're courting death. The barbaric bull emperor directly soared into the sky and rammed his huge bull head towards the immortal sword, completely ignoring the sharp sword chi emitted from the immortal sword. Bang! The bull's head collided with the immortal sword. The immortal sword that emitted sharp sword chi actually shattered into countless pieces, and the fragments shot out in all directions. Some of the fragments even shot back towards the human expert. What? The human expert was truly shocked. However, before he could recover from his shock, the mountain-like barbaric bull emperor had already charged over. Bang! The barbaric bull emperor rapidly crushed the human expert like a mountain. The human expert was smashed to pieces on the spot, and even his yuanshan was shattered by the force of the collision. A human clan powerhouse with decent cultivation was killed so easily. His body and soul were both destroyed. The human race is only SOSO. The barbaric bull emperor didn't stop and directly went to the next human settlement. The humiliation of the demon race must be washed away with the blood of the human race. The three major tribes of the wildlands began to purge the human race. Several months passed. Some monster race powerhouses guessed that the human must have gathered the complete ancient extreme Dao town map and had already broken into the source of this world. There was an ancient extreme town formation guarding that place. Even a true sage would die if he entered. In another region, in another human settlement, a wild beast was bathed in human blood. The entire human settlement seemed to have turned into hell. There was blood everywhere, and broken bones and flesh were everywhere. Kill. More than a dozen humans with decent cultivation surrounded the wild beast and fought. Each of them was stained with blood, and some even had their arms torn off, but they were still fighting. This was a wild beast shaped like a tyrannosaurus. It was only 1 or 2 feet taller than an adult, but it was extremely fierce. Its bloody mouth was chewing on a human arm. Clang! A big man slashed at the neck of the tyrannosaurus with all his strength, but the divine saber in his hand couldn't break the thick layer of scales on the body of the tyrannosaurus. Sparks flew everywhere. What? The burly man flew backwards. He saw that there were actually a few nicks on the blade of the divine saber. This caused the burly man to be extremely shocked. The big man was distracted, and the tyrannosaurus instantly pounced in front of him. The tyrannosaurus clawed at the big man's chest, dug out his heart, and stuffed it into its mouth. The heart of a human expert is still as delicious as before. The tyrannosaurus chewed on the heart while attacking. Although the big man's heart was dug out by the tyrannosaurus, he didn't die. He used all his strength and slashed at the tyrannosaurus 7 or 8 times, but still couldn't break the layer of scales on the body of the tyrannosaurus. In the end, the top of the big man's head was torn by the tyrannosaurus, and his origin spirit was destroyed. Then, he fell into a pool of blood and died. The human experts were killed one after another, and the tyrannosaurus seemed to be playing with them. No matter how brave and fierce the human experts were, they couldn't hurt the tyrannosaurus in the slightest. A human expert even self-detonated, but the tyrannosaurus was only able to make the tyrannosaurus take a few steps back. The tyrannosaurus was too strong, and its body was even stronger than an emperor divine weapon. This was a great battle without any suspense. More than a dozen human experts died in battle, but no one retreated. Even when there was only one person left, he still rushed towards the tyrannosaurus with a murderous aura. They didn't care about life or death, they just wanted to protect the human race from being invaded by foreign enemies. This was a shocking scene. Although they couldn't stop the tyrannosaurus, they did their best. They were heroes. Although they had fallen, they displayed the unyielding will of the human race. Another human settlement was massacred, and not a single human could escape. Such bloody incidents were happening everywhere in the wildlands. However, every human settlement was guarded by human experts. Although the three major tribes of the wildlands were powerful, there were still casualties. In front of an ancient city of the human race, a huge man who looked like a black iron tower drew his bow and shot down 3 golden birds that looked like golden crows. The human race also had experts who could contend against the experts of the demon race and the beast race. However, the human race didn't have a peerless expert at the level of a quasi-saint to intimidate the other tribes. On the other hand, the patriarchs of the 3 major tribes of the wildlands were all at the quasi-saint level. Without a deterrent force, the human race lost some confidence. However, Gu Fei's sudden appearance had given hope to the wildlands human race. However, that hope was fading away. That was because the human race's expert that had suppressed the 3 great clans of the wildlands seemed to have disappeared, as if he had only appeared for a brief moment. No one knew where he came from, and no one knew if he would appear again. Half a year had passed, and there were still massacres happening in the wildlands. The human settlements were constantly being attacked by the experts of the wildlands demon race and the wildlands beast race. The human race experts also began to fight back. Human experts also appeared in the territories of the demon race and beast race. The stench of blood was very thick in the wildlands. In the past half a year, the human race was at a disadvantage. Nearly 1,000 human settlements scattered throughout the wildlands were razed to the ground. The human race suffered countless casualties. On this day, the beast race and demon race joined hands to seal off an ancient city of the human race. Yi City, the home of one of the major tribes of the human race, the Yi clan. This was a large city with a population of over 1 million. Such an ancient city was rare in the wildlands. Outside the ancient city, ancient chariots stopped in the sky. Beasts roared at the sky, their killing intent soaring. The demon race and beast race had sealed off the entire area. The Yi clan was an ancient clan of the human race in the wildlands. According to legend, the ancestor of this clan was an invincible god. However, with the passage of time, the Yi clan had gradually declined. However, a starving camel was still bigger than a horse. Even though the Yi clan had declined, they still possessed a deep foundation that caused the other major tribes of the wildlands to fear. The ancient inheritance of the human race was the reason why the 3 major tribes of the wildlands didn't dare to act rashly. However, things were different now. The 3 major tribes of the wildlands felt threatened by the human race. Humans inside, come out and accept your death. Otherwise, you will be tortured. An old demon with white hair and beard stepped out from the crowd and transmitted his voice to the ancient city. At this time, the defensive formation of the ancient city was activated. A faintly discernible layer of divine light enveloped the entire city. Bullshit! An old man rushed out from the ancient city. This old man's shout caused the void to tremble. Although the old man was old, his blood and chi were extremely vigorous. The old demon's eyes couldn't help but narrow when he saw this old man. This human old man was an almighty. Moreover, he was a rare expert among the almighties. The old man was extremely ferocious. He actually rushed out from the near-transparent divine light and directly attacked the old demon. Boom! A huge hand appeared in the void, emitting a terrifying fluctuation that caused one's heart to palpitate. The void trembled as if it would shatter at any time. Target =_blank.